Sorry, guys. I'm sitting here reading chat, laughing to myself. How are you guys? Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I am your still sick and sore host, Ranting Monkey. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a wonderful. I probably should have looked at what day it is before I start that sentence, huh? I never do. Oh, it's hump day. Everybody go out and get your hump on. I hope you're having a good one, though. Mine, I just woke up. I've only been up for a couple of hours now, but yesterday, one rough day. But I was trying to cancel my satellite, you guys, the big one, not the Starlink, because the Starlink has made improvements to the point where I can get rid of the other one, which is more expensive than the other two internets combined. And I call them up last month on the 20th because that's my billing date. I'm like, I want to cancel my thing. And the lady tells me, oh, well, sorry, the billing date's already started, so you have to pay for this month. And I was like, but I don't want it. She's like, yeah, but that's how it works. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not having the argument. I'll have it for one more month. No big deal. But cancel it. Cancel it. I called on the 16th, just 5 days ago, 4 days ago, yesterday, right? And I'm like, okay, I just want to be sure that this shit is turned off. It's being canceled. And the guy told me, he said, it is scheduled to be turned off on the 19th at midnight. I was like, cool. It's done. And then I got a text yesterday morning telling me that they charged me almost $200 for another month of service. Oh, I was hot. I was mad. But I was like, you know what? Mistakes happen. I'll call them up. We'll get it fixed. No big deal. So I call them up. I'm like, hey, this thing happened. And the person on the phone's like, oh, yeah, that's I don't know. Yeah, you need to talk to somebody in another department about that. I was like, fine, connect me to the other department. At which point I was told, are they open in 24 minutes? I was like, okay, fine. So I hung up politely, very politely. And I go over to watch. I was watching The Office. That's what I've been doing for the last several days, guys. Just sitting here, staring into the void, watching Office episodes I've already seen. And like, you know what? I can time this. I'll just watch an episode of this. It should be time to call him back. Call him back. Get the person I'm supposed to talk to. And I'm like, all right, look, I called on the 20th. You guys said I couldn't do it. Called again on the 16th just to make sure it was done for this month. Was told it was. I need this taken care of, and I need my money back. An hour later, I'm talking to the guy's supervisor because they're just like, yeah, I don't know what to tell. You called. They said this to me. You called when our department was closed. They were talking about the conversation on the 20th. And I was like, but I just called 4 days ago and you idiots told me that it was done. And what made me ask for supervisors is I'm talking to the guy. I'm like, wait a minute. What do the notes say on my account about the call from the 16th? And he says this to me. He goes, well, I had seen them, but they're not here anymore. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Did you just tell me you deleted the notes on my account? And like, I need to talk to your supervisor, dude. I just can't. I go out of my way not to do that to people. I've worked in that environment before where people are like, let me talk to your supervisor when I could have taken care of the problem easily for him. But I'm talking to the supervisor, and he's going into his spiel where he's just about to tell me that I'm going to have to pay again. I'm like, stop. So everything you're saying here would be fine if it wasn't. And it was, oh yeah, what I was going to say, yeah, your refund is being processed. Oh God, what they told me that I was going to have to. They were going to have to go review the calls. And it would take them up to 5 days to review the calls. And I would have to call back on Monday to see what the verdict was. I'm like, no, I don't. We're not doing that. That's some bullshit. But anyway, long story short, they finally were like, yeah, we'll get you your refund. It's still going to take 2 weeks, 10 to 14 days, they said. But at least I'm done with that shit. Viasat has helped me a lot in that it gave me access to the internet where I could do gaming and stuff. But their customer service is absolute trash. One of the worst companies I've ever dealt with. However, I am proud of myself, guys. As you might have noticed, Monkey has a bit of let's call it a temper. And I don't deal well with stupid in person. I really don't. If you guys think I'm an asshole on here, you should see me when I'm dealing with morons in person. My fuse for them is really short. And it's not out of the ordinary for me to hang up on people and tell them to go fuck themselves. I didn't do that. I didn't even swear during this whole thing. I was proud of myself. I'm growing as a person, guys. Anyway, I hope your days have gone better than that shit. All right. But we're not here to talk about my mundane life. You know, I was talking real quick, just an aside. I was talking with Lady Monkey about this, and the reason Viasat can get away with this, it's this South Park thing, right? The South Park cable company. They know that there's no other game in town. And up until Starlink came around, they literally were. I could have Viasat or the AT&T, or in our case, both. But for actual high speed, the only thing I had was them. And I'm not against monopolies in and of themselves, but it does bother me that we see this. Do you guys remember the days of the ISP, the 56K ISPs? They were popping up everywhere. You had people starting them out of their homes. I know this because one of the guys that I used, he sold it out of his house. He's like, I'm become a ISP provider. And right up until broadband became a thing, he was the person I went through. And in a weird twist of fate, it turned out he was somebody I played a video game with, and I did not know this at the time. I've mentioned the game before. It's called Tanner's, an incredibly small game. At max, probably had a few thousand people playing at any one time. And so to run into one of them and he actually be the guy I was getting my internet from at the time was kind of cool. But my mom just got eligible for Starlink. Cool. Starlink, I enjoy. It's not perfect, but it's nice to have an alternative. When I first called Viasat, they're like, can we ask why you're leaving our service? Like, well, you're way too expensive and your customer service sucks. How's that? Anyhow, we're here to talk about Vaush tonight because Vaush the other day came out with a video. Before we get to that, Snubber, thank you before the stream, who asked me if I saw Rogan and let me scroll way back up here so I can actually read it. Oh, there it is on the screen. You see Rogan and Dr. Phil? I think Phil's about to get the J.K. Rowling experience. I did not. Thank you for the donation. And what did he do? Suggest biology is a real thing? Yeah, I have not even been on Twitter. I got several messages. Anytime I take a full day off of Twitter, I get messages asking me if I'm okay. I'm alive. I'm fine in that regard, but yeah, I haven't seen anything. I got my puke bucket ready. Thank you, Black Dynamite. Thank you. Here, we'll put that on this. See, you know why I don't do this normally, guys? Because I get so distracted that I forget. It's literally all it is. It's me being a horrible host, and I apologize for it. But thank you so much. Vaush came out with his, what do you call it? The context video. The context video to explain all these stupid shit. Now, it should be told, the other people who were defending him, Tipster and Keffels, after this video came out, they kind of distanced themselves from him. Keffels made a post on, I think it was Discord, where she's just like, what the fuck is, fuck Vaush. I was trying to help Vaush, and now I burned the last bridge I had to a big YouTuber, talking about Ethan Klein. And it's just funny watching these. You made me, nobody told you to go out there and defend this retard. Nobody told you to do that. You did that all on your own. Snubber, thank you so much. He more or less called it a social contagion and said they don't belong in schools, deceiving parents, etc. At 9 minutes, you and Jack were tagged on Twitter. If we have some time, we'll check that out. This is not going to be all Vaush tonight, I hope, because there's only a couple of parts of this. What is it? Hour and 41 minutes and 53-second clip that we're going to watch. We're only going to watch parts of it. Now, I realize that opens me up to accusations of me taking this fat fucking retard out of context. I get that. However, we don't need to see everything. We can throw it into chat for you guys to see. I already got it queued up to where I want it. I was like a good host tonight, but I'll throw it into chat if you guys want to watch the whole thing yourself. I just highlight a couple of parts of it. First, we're going to watch him defend the clip that we've seen, the one that we went through the other day. I just feel like this is as close as I'm going to get to having a conversation with this retard about it. You know, when Vaush first popped up, I got a lot. When Vaush first popped up, tons of people would come to chat. Will you debate Vaush? And at the time, like, I don't know who Vaush is, so I went and looked. I'm like, that guy's a fucking retard. Why would I debate him? I mean, I'm happy to talk to most people. I don't want to say anybody, because one of the things like Vaush has gotten in trouble for is talking with Mr. Girl. There were people who were like, will you talk to Amos? No, I'm not. There's certain people, no, I'm not talking to, but it's because I think they're degenerates. But Vaush has shitty takes. He's always had shitty takes. And he's a retard. Thank you, Yvonne Potato. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't the internet providers in the U.S. actually divvy up the states between themselves? So only one or two of them are in each state. Well, it got even worse with the modern ISP. You're talking about your cable companies and your phone company. I don't know all the particulars. What I do know is that typically there's a cable provider, a phone service in your area. Back when ISPs were just, your 56K that went over whatever phone lines you had, it was a lot easier for people to, again, just set up their own, or a small company to start one. Nowadays, you pretty much have to be the phone company. You have to be the cable company. So basically, yes, Spectrum sucks. I don't disagree with you, Ramen. I haven't dealt with them, but I'll take your word for it. But I will put them Viasat. Yeah, they want to get us. Hey, we need affordable internet for everybody. One, Joe, you gave people billions of dollars, trillions actually. Where's my fucking internet? Where's my better internet? Not that I don't like Starlink. I like competition. But yeah, it is really weird the way it's all busted up. Anyway, Darth Mondo, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Darth Mondo. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I hope you had a good one. I really, really do. All right. So, Mr. Vaush here, he's got this this long ass video to try to explain away his thing. I'm just going to let you in on a secret. His best defense in here is, I'm a retard. I'm paraphrasing. He calls himself stupid, which I don't disagree with. But that's his best defense. I'm dumb. Yeah, you are. Actually, his defense is, I used to be dumb. He's much smarter now, you guys. He's read a lot of Wikipedia since this shit all started. So he's much, much smarter now. But that's his best defense. All right, we're starting out on, wait, am I on the right one? I want to make sure. No, that's not the one we want. We want this one. Yes. Ooh, we almost watched. See, we're saving this little clip for later. This little clip is going to be very important later. So let me get to the right clip. That would be this one. It's from just after that part. We're going to save that little part right there. My painfully cringy joke. We're going to save that for later. And we're going on to the stopping child abuse argument. And all right, Vaush, tell us what a dummy you were. Oh, I should say the bad child labor argument. I mean, this is him basically trying to do a preemptive on everything else he says, where he's laying some groundwork. This is 100% just a propaganda video. Explaining the child labor argument. This is the Vaush defense. Sorry, I'm trying not to, when a donation comes through, I've been told that I duck, so I stop talking to let it go. But this is their defense, where they're like, what he was saying was it's like exploiting children who get diamonds or cobalt or chocolate. I love the chocolate one. But it's about that. He wasn't actually saying that child that this stuff was okay. Yeah, you can make that argument. The problem is he still used that as his argument. There's tons of other things you could have said. Keldrick, thank you. I had a couple banger tweets today that were unexpectedly popular with random Twitter users. So here's some money to celebrate. Thank you so much for that, feminist $12. You know, I had to go over onto my cousin's Twitter today. He stopped by, so I went over there because Keffels blocks me and I'm following this whole thing. And yeah, I saw some tweets over there had blown up since I left. It's kind of weird. Jack, my friend, how are you?
I'm tired. How are you?
I am tired and sore, and my head hurts. My chest is congested, and my throat is sore. But I'm good. I've become the old man who, when you like, how are you? Like, I got 9 billion things wrong with me. I got to cut this down and give you the top 5.
That's every old person I've ever met.
Yeah, like that's me now.
It's like you hit like 45 and people just start bitching about their medical issues.
I say all that just to say I'm actually okay. Just physically I'm beat up, but that's the norm. So, you know, is what it is.
Yeah.
It is why we didn't do anything yesterday, though, man. I just fucking sat here. I didn't even lay down. Because every time I lay down, I'm only asleep for 5 hours at max. And it gets depressing. I just want a little more sleep. But yeah, otherwise I'm well. We're getting ready to watch Vaush and his defense of himself.
Oh, I heard this was bad.
It's not as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. It's not as good either. The real problem is it's Vaush, and he's trying desperate. Instead of just coming out and going, you know what, guys, you were right. This shit is disgusting. I'm ashamed of myself. I shouldn't have been doing this. This is fucked up. He tries to rationalize it all away.
No, what? I'm shocked.
Okay, so here he is. What's this part titled? Stopping Child Abuse Argument.
Another thing leftists have pushed is the idea that pedophilia is just another sexual orientation.
Citation needed.
I love him stopping right there to go citation needed. This is a common thing. I mean, TEDx had to pull down their video of the woman defending pedophilia. Sorry, she wasn't defending pedophilia. She was defending pedophiles. I should be clear. Because all of these people pull the same shit. I'm not saying pedophiles are okay. What they do is horribly wrong, but they're people too. You need to stop being so mean to them.
No.
But yeah, this whole citation needed shit. One, this is something they used to say all the time, and it's how Vaush became such a disciple of Wikipedia. Because anytime he needed a citation, Jack, where'd he go?
Wikipedia.
All right.
Like being gay or straight.
Oh my gosh.
Stop discrimination.
Citation needed.
It's time to be more tolerant of demons who feed on kids.
Yeah. I do take issue with the moral outrage here. Child sexual abuse is widely underreported. It's a huge problem. It's incredibly damaging to the psyche of young people, and as they grow older, it can lead to many negative mental health consequences. However,
can we just talk about the delivery there? He delivers that the way that I have to say, you know, anytime we talk about say there's several things where any trans thing, like, look, we're not saying all trans people. And we've gotten it to the point where it's like, Jesus Christ, we have to say this every fucking time.
Oh,
right?
Of course we do. Like a mantra.
But he's saying that about children being sexually abused.
And he says it with the disdain and indifference of somebody that doesn't really give a shit.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway. He's got a however.
Stigmatizing pedophilia to the extent that we are calling them demons probably discourages pedophiles.
Wait, this sounds familiar. Where have we heard this stuff? Hey, don't stigmatize the pedos.
Germany, Hunter Avalon.
Hunter Avalon. By the way, Hunter Avalon responded to this. I've only seen a small clip that was on Twitter. And he still tries to defend his little friend Vaush, but it's funny watching him die inside as he realizes the guy he modeled himself after is getting so much shit for this. He literally took his take on this pedo shit from Vaush. He got it from right here. And he's like, oh man, yeah, this is a bad look, Vaushi, but I get what you're trying to say there. It's just a bad look. Evolved Potato, thank you. How about we use Vaush's own words as a citation? Now. Yeah. Anyway.
It's people who feel attraction towards children from getting the help they could need to keep themselves from
the help they could need, Jack.
Could need. That's an interesting choice of words.
Isn't it? Now, look, that could just be him trying to be overly intelligent and he's really a dummy. So, and honestly, guys, if we are, it's extremely charitable as we can be to Vaush. The takeaway would be he's a retard you should never listen to. Seriously. Because his best defense is, I was dumb. Yeah, I agree. I think it goes deeper than that, as your porn folder showed. But we've been pointing to that. The problems with this guy forever.
Yep.
But look, man, you're stopping the pedophiles from getting stuff that they could need.
Abusing children. By demonizing them to this extent, you are increasing the likelihood of child sexual abuse.
Bullshit. All right. Jack, question for you.
Uh-oh. I'm on painkillers, so you better be careful how you phrase this.
Do you think more people drank alcohol during Prohibition or after it ended?
During.
No.
No?
People didn't have access. It was underground.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. No, see, it's they just they found the alcohol sexy, and that made it okay.
That's not to say when something's illegal, people will never do it. But when you normalize it, destigmatize it, when you're making it so it's okay to come out in the open and be that way, more people are going to be that way.
Are you trying to tell me that making something sexy and socially permissible makes it happen more?
Yes.
What? That's crazy. No, Prohibition worked. I have heard this many times. It clearly stopped all the boozing.
It did. Nobody drank. No, wait. It was after it was allowed, everybody stopped drinking. That's what happened. Yeah.
Because nobody wanted it. It wasn't sexy.
They all went and got the help they might have needed.
Oh, yeah. They're like, I could need some help with this. Now, excuse me, honey. I got to beat my wife and kids and go to the doctor, get the help I need for my possible drinking problem. What?
Yeah, this argument is such fucking nonsense, and I'm so tired of it from these people.
Real quickly, thank you, Keldrick, for that feminist donation. Vaush is the kind of person who regularly calls people a hair more to the right than him Nazis and all sorts of vile shit. But heaven forbid you call him a pedophile, a demon. Oh, yeah. He's offended on multiple levels because you're stigmatizing them and using a religious iconography to do it.
Caramon says, I'd like to congratulate drugs for winning the war on drugs. Well, even with drugs, look at when marijuana gets legalized all over the place. People who weren't doing it start. I know tons of people who've started using marijuana since Michigan made it legal.
Yeah.
They didn't before because they didn't have access to it. Now they can just go to the store and get it. Whether you agree that something should be legal, because I do think weed should be legal, Jack. The consequence of legalizing it is real. It just is. And while he's not quite talking legalization here, he's talking destigmatization. Don't want to take him out of context. You're still talking about making it more normalized. That's what destigmatize means. It means normalizing it. And normalizing it will make it worse, you fucking retard. Because they're not going to go to the doctor and be like, Doc, I might need help. Because what you just told them is it's okay to be this way, you fucking retard. Officer Buck,
Yep.
thank you. I wonder how more prevalent smoking would be if it was still recommended by doctors. Yeah, they could have easily gotten rid of smoking, Jack.
Oh, yeah. I
They
mean,
could have outlawed it.
they knew about the health problems for decades.
They exaggerated some of them to get it pushed through. We'll leave that
Of course.
argument for another day. But anyway, back to Vaush. Remember, this is the old clip. This is what he's going to have to defend.
Do not demonize pedophiles. Demonize child sexual abuse and encourage pedophiles to get help.
You can encourage pedophiles to get help without destigmatizing them. You know that, right? You can be like, hey, if you're a pedophile, go get help without going, if you're a pedophile, you're not a demon. They make it's an either or argument with them. Why?
It always is.
It's to make it more normalized.
Now, if you've got pedophiles who have never sexually abused a child, but they're advocating for it, they're like, yeah, I've never done it, but is there anything really that wrong with lowering the age of consent to 13? Then, of course, fuck them. Like, fucking shut them up. Just fucking smack them. But
where's the difference, though? Because you guys, they'll go get help. We went over this in the Hunter Avalon thing. Where's the proof where's your citation, fucker, that this even helps? Go ahead, go dig up that shit that you gave to Hunter Avalon to use as evidence. We'll go over it again if you want. But anyway, Jack, he does this throughout the video. It's gone to black and white. Now he's showing the part that other people have been taking out of context.
Yeah, out of context.
All right, well, let's hear.
by and large, statistically speaking, there are 370 people watching right now. I'd be willing to bet that at least 20 or 30 of them experience habitual sexual attraction towards children. It's surprisingly common.
What?
We have 153 people watching on YouTube, Jack. I can't see the numbers for Rumble. I would guess none of them want to fuck children.
I hope they don't.
And he's just like, yeah, probably about almost 7% of my audience is definitely a pedophile. I mean, it's that common.
Says a lot about his audience.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it? That's pretty specific, right? I mean, whew. Does that make we saw the context before it? He clearly put that in there for a reason. Your stuff before it doesn't make this part sound any better. You just said a significant portion of your audience is probably pedophiles. You fucking weirdo. I don't know how you could be a pedophile and watch this show, Jack.
I don't know.
Especially if he's right that, it just makes them feel horrible and they won't go get help. You wouldn't watch a show like ours where we're like, you're a fucking degenerate piece of shit and I hope bad things happen to you.
Yeah, I mean, it stands to reason they'd avoid us like the plague.
Not Vaush's audience, man. No, they're a good 7 to 8% of them are pedophiles. Because he said, what, 300 watching and 20? Yeah.
That's a really high percentage.
To those of you who do to an extent that you feel as though it may be like a problem, please just get some fucking help, my dude.
All right, can we talk about that for a second? You believe there's pedophiles in your audience who don't consider an attraction to children to be a problem? To the ones of you who think this might be a problem, go get help. The rest of you are fine. Am I the only one watching this thinking this doesn't make it look better?
I'm with you.
Yeah, you. Do you find your pedophilia problem? Well, go get help. You're okay with it? Just listen along. Donations are appreciated.
There's nothing wrong with you as a person.
Yes, there is. If you're attracted to children, there's something wrong with you as a person.
Yep.
Unless, Jack, you're a child. If you're a 14-year-old who finds your 14-year-old classmate cute, that's normal. If you're Vaush's age and find that guy's 14-year-old classmate attractive, there's a problem.
Yeah, a little bit.
We can't help the shit that we're into. We can help our actions. There's nothing feels weird, man, about this.
I know, right? But keep in mind, this is all blowing up because he got caught with lolly porn. He got caught with drawings of children having sex. Hey, AP, how you doing? Vaush, there is no context. There's plenty of context. What he said is fucking disgusting. He's trying to make it. What he should have said is my bullshit context.
Yeah, well, he's trying to backpedal on normalizing pedophilia. That's a bridge that has no safety nets when you jump off.
Yep.
You can't help the things that you're into.
That's going to be very important later. Remember what he just said there. You can't help the things you're into. You just can't help it, Jack.
Yeah, that sounds like some pedo bullshit.
What you could do is, let's say, for argument's sake, Jack, let's say you can't help what you're into. You know what you could do? Not engage at all.
Yeah. Well, look, I may be a little bit stoned from painkillers, but I remember in psychology, there's an association thing where I forget the name of it, obviously, where they start to associate the behavior or thoughts that you're having with something negative. You saw it in Clockwork Orange. It was taken to an insane extreme. But then they slowly reward you for good behavior or good attractions. So you can modify your behaviors.
Well, Faithless brings up a good point. If you can't help what you're into, why would you seek help?
It's a network with other degenerate perverts.
Hey, Vaushi boy, what help are they going to go get if they just can't help it? AP says, we've all wanted to cheat before and didn't. You can absolutely curb bad behavior driven by sexual impulse. Exactly.
Yeah, it's called self-control.
Yep.
But a lot of these pet defenders, they don't see it that way. They think you have to give in to your every impulse and whim. Which maybe that's why a lot of male feminists are so rapey.
There it is. Aversion is what you were talking about. Yes.
Aversion therapy. Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. See, I knew what you were talking about, but I couldn't get the name either. So that's why I like the audience. So many times I wish, hang on. There we go. I really do wish that the audience was in my head more so that when I can't think of a word, they would think of it for me.
Do you really want that to happen? Toss a
No.
link, dude.
What's that? Oh, I will. Yeah. Pornhub, thank you so much. We here at Pornhub support Vaush's fight against age verification systems. Wait, what was the question? Thank you so much. AP, I got to email you, right? How do we do this? It's been a while since
I think you email him. I'll read that one. Thank you, Spud Gun, for donating to Monkey. I'd like to introduce you to my friend Chippy. Yeah, well, Chippy bites a little bit, but overall a good dude. He bites the right people.
Yeah, AP has a standing invitation on our channel.
He's fun people, that's why.
Damn it. What is your email? Fuck. Thank you, JB. Serial rapists are just defendable, I guess. Shake my head. Yeah, look, man, they couldn't help it. Okay. Jack, we talk to the audience for a minute.
Yeah, your natural inclination could still be.
There we
go. Look, Vaush likes to defend some pretty fucked up stuff. Oh, thank you, Alan, for that donation. This is morning, brother. Good morning, man. Hope you're doing well. I hope the day treats you well. My back hurts a lot. That's why I'm on a muscle relaxer right now.
Okay, AP, I just sent that link to you, my friend.
Thank you, Evolved Potato. You know, these people that defend pedos actually would call me one because I like short chicks. It's insane. Just saying, if there are any 4'5" Asian chicks with big tits, I'm free. Probably under 24, over 19, but that max is adjustable. Well, I hope you find what you're looking for, dude. I would recommend Vietnamese.
I've run into this before too, because I'm quite known for liking short women, including midgets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like midgets that look young. I think that if you look at the kind of women I've always liked, that you'll notice that they tend to towards the older. I've always liked older women. AP, my friend, how you been?
Well, I was doing really good until this guy in the chat was hitting on my fucking girlfriend, man. You keep those big-tittied, 5'1" Asians out of your mind. I don't need that kind of competition. I don't have that kind of sexual confidence, man. Don't get in my game. I can be thrown off the. I'm not king of the mountain here. I'm lucky. Stay away from her.
Alan, thank you so much. He says, "Morning, monkey." Good morning, sir. In fairness, that wasn't just somebody in chat. That was a donation, so we give him a little more. He can't hit on your girlfriend, but he can wink at her. How about that?
He can say these things if he pays. Please stay away from her. I just don't know if you're better looking than me or if certain parts of you are larger than mine, and I don't want to be in that competition because it's way too likely you are. So just stay away.
And by bigger body part, you obviously mean feet.
Of course. What else would I be talking about?
Yeah, he's Australian too, so he's probably got a sexy accent.
Oh no, the sexy accent. He's tougher than me too. He's probably got a big knife.
Yep. All right, AP, you want to comment on this before we finish watching what this retard said back when and gets into his defense of it?
Yeah, he's absolutely fucking wrong and coping about the fact that he's a fucking pedophile. Look, man, it's let me just lay down some really simple rules. You absolutely can help what kind of sexual fantasies you have. It's called self-discipline. You absolutely can control sexual impulse. We've all wanted to cheat before and had to be like, I can't. I'm married. I can't. Thank you, but I just can't. So you absolutely can control that sexual impulse. As far as I know, it's going to get into it eventually, like Lolly goes. Yeah, I concede that it's not illegal at this time, but I will tell you very clearly that if you watch that shit, you're fucked up. You're a pedophile, and I don't think you have a place on this planet with the rest of us. The counter that I get to that sometimes on Twitter, for instance, is people saying, well, what about violence? You have violence on your show. You watch violence. Does that mean you're going to go be violent in real life? You think just because somebody watches this, they're going to go attack a child? And I always counter with the same thing. Are they jerking off to it?
Right.
If you're jerking off to Rambo and giving yourself your brain a dopamine reward every time you see violence, yes, you're about one step away from committing violence. I will die on that hill.
Yeah, and we know this from the psychological stuff that's been done on serial killers and stuff. These guys get off on that. It's not just that they woke up one day and were like, I think I'm going to go strangle a bitch. It's sexual for them.
Yeah, and there's a 26% I don't know how to pronounce this word, recidivism. Yeah, on sex offenders, especially child sex offenders, are higher than that.
Yep.
Well, see, we went through this argument with one of Vaush's disciples, Hunter Avalone. And
God,
yeah,
the guy who ran away and left his girlfriend in front of a shotgun wielding maniac and turned around like, we did the right thing. The Navy SEALs say this is what you're supposed to do. And I'm like, hey man, you weren't in town square in Fallujah getting sniped, dude. There was somebody at the door, you idiot. It's a totally different situation.
He hid behind her.
That's true.
He hid behind her, then ran off. Yeah, Hunter, you never get to fucking talk about anything ever again.
Yeah, he's a little bitch.
The recidivism rate isn't even the real recidivism rate. That is the recidivism caught rate.
Right. It's because always higher.
One of the statistics that we looked at during that, because he gave me all of these, I'd watched a video of his and he had all of these different examples. Look, this is what the study says. And I actually went and read them all. And in one of them, it was something, was it 96% of the people that they talked to admitted that they had abused a child and not been caught.
Mm-hmm.
And he could not understand why that was an important point. Like, what does that mean? Well, it means that none of your shit is actually working and that these guys are still doing it. And they're not getting caught for it. So the numbers that we do see are way low. We watched the video the other day. What's it called, Jack? The War on Children?
Yes.
And we watching that, and they're talking about I just lost my whole thought because I
You
was
were
trying
watching
to
the
remember-
war on children, and they were talking about.
Recidivism? What?
I lost it. It's just gone.
You said
We can
99%
move
of
along.
them had said they had done it before and not gotten caught. You were watching the war on children.
Yeah, I don't know where it was.
I smoke weed. I totally understand.
I don't
Yeah.
even
Oh,
smoke
problem.
weed.
Well, you're older than me, and I'll get there. Don't worry. I won't have to smoke to kill my memory forever. We'll all get Biden someday.
I'm sick. I'm going with that one.
Yeah,
All
right. No, when I worked with the mentally ill, we had one young man who was 15 or so. He was an arsonist. He fit the trifecta. Liked to torture animals, set fires, wet the bed, and masturbate while torturing animals. But one of the police officers that caught him, this is a true story, I'm not giving out any specifics. He's driving down the street in the industrial district and sees a kid standing in the middle of the street with his pants down around his ankles, jerking it. And that's when he noticed there was a warehouse on fire.
Nice.
Because he noticed the kid before he noticed the building engulfed in flames. Kid was
But I have one question. Was the kid trying to put it out?
No, he started it.
Because I was just saying, maybe he was playing fire truck and he was just doing his best.
You would think, but no, he was just furiously masturbating. And when they went to stop him, he demanded they let him finish. They
Jesus.
did not, for the record.
I mean, that's just polite, to be fair.
You'd think.
I remembered in this donation from JB. Thank you. It's one of the few crimes where you are more likely to get away with it by having a more vulnerable target. They just don't want to get it. Burr. That's the thing I was talking about. We watched the video of that movie, and there's a girl in there that comes up, and she tells us that when she was abused as a child, she went and told her parents, and so the police take her to the house, and it ends up that guy didn't just abuse her; he was abusing his own children. These people, it's not just one time. It's not just, oh, I had this moment of weakness. They are serial predators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have an addiction to hurting people. That's a dangerous type.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's sexual related, it's very, very hard to get them to stop. Almost impossible.
Well, yeah, they're giving their it's like a coke addiction. They're giving their brain a dopamine response. They're giving their brain an immediate dopamine reward for what they're seeing. So they crave it. It immediately becomes like an addiction. I'm not saying this isn't their fault. By the way, it's absolutely their fucking fault. I hate them. So if you're an alcoholic out there, like, dude, I'm trying my best. It's not yeah, but you don't molest kids, okay? You just drink. So just stay sober, buddy.
But we don't have a problem saying that alcoholism is bad. You know what I mean? These people want us to be like, look, it's not really their fault. You can make that argument about any behavior.
If it's not their fault, what you're telling me is it's a sexual orientation.
Yes, exactly. Citation needed. Fuck you, Vaush. All right, let's get back to retard here.
Realize as you're like 20 years old that you have a thing for kids. What the fuck do? Commit fucking Sudoku?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sudoku? Like
Yeah.
the game?
You're going to sit down and just do nothing but number puzzles all day.
I know what you mean, Vaush. And yes, that is exactly what should happen. I think that they've gotten bad customer service from Life, and just like any other organization, maybe they should consider a refund.
Yes.
Can we talk about it real quick, though? Because he goes, if you're 20 and you're attracted to a 17-year-old, it's time to up it a little bit. But I get that.
You're
If
kind of a
Vaush's-
loser, but I wouldn't call you a predator at that point.
Right. Because you're just coming out of that age group. If
You
you're
probably went to high
Vaush's
school
age,
with that kid. You know what I mean? Like you were
Right.
in school with that person.
but we're not talking about that generally. Generally, what we're talking about is a 20-year-old who has an addiction to jacking off to 6-year-olds.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Do you just stop existing right then and there?
Yep.
Do you toss yourself in front of a car? No.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
have to
that's-
live your life anyway.
No, that's the honorable thing to do.
If you can't control your little impulse and it's going to cause you to victimize others, yes, I absolutely think that you should do everything you just suggested, Vaush.
And can we point out that he's already said they can't help it? Go get therapy that's not going to help you anyway. You have a right to exist as a pedophile.
If you can't help it, then there's no help for you.
Yeah.
No, that's just networking at that point. They're making friends in the lobby and finding out ways to hide it better.
The sick thing about social media and the internet that's happened that, that are in our 40s and 50s, I don't know how old you are, You have grandkids.
48.
48. Okay, you're not too much. 5 years older than me. I was 7th grade when you were graduating.
Excuse me.
We lived a life before the internet. So you remember this time where these like lone weirdos couldn't connect with other weirdos, so they just knew how weird they were, and they kept it to themselves, or they got the self-discipline to make it go away. You know what I mean? They couldn't connect with a community of weirdos to get positive reinforcement. And I think that's really what happens with a lot furries, all this weird shit didn't start until no matter where you lived. If there's like 4 of you all around the country, now you can connect. Now you don't feel so weird. But you are fucking weird. You should feel weird.
Well, couple that with the notion that weird's not even a thing. There is no normal.
Well, dangerously abnormal, where you're...
No,
you know what I mean?
I have a problem with the idea that there is no normal. We all know what fucking normal means.
Yes.
But we have to pretend that normal's not a thing so that people like furries can be like, what, I'm normal. No, you're not. If you're not touching kids, you dress like an animal all you want. Don't touch your animals either. Vaush and your lizard licking. I don't know if he gets into that in this because I have not watched the whole video. I've only seen up until about an hour and 20 of this. So maybe he addresses where he talked about putting a lizard on his dick and letting it lick it. But
wow.
Point being, if you're free and you're not hurting anybody else, do your thing, but you are weird.
Like furries have become so much tamer than some of the other degeneracy we've seen lately.
I just said that on the show the other night. These brave individuals and degenerates are they make like today furries are almost normal now. I'm like, oh, they just like to go to cons and dress up as mascots. Just let them do their thing. Like that's how fast society is. It's too fast. Society has never progressed into the future this fast and stupidly.
That's also the problem with this nonsense of destigmatizing pedophiles, because when you normalize it, it's a very fast thing. Look how quick it took from gay marriage being voted down in California to pretty much just being normal. It doesn't take that long.
At Pride in Washington last year, butt-naked men on bicycles couldn't show their penises to children, and when it gets called in to the police, there's recordings of the police saying at Pride there's really nothing we can do.
Yep. Don't worry.
What's that, just a decade? A decade did that?
A decade, yeah. Because even Obama was against gay marriage when he ran.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. And at the time, because I was younger, I didn't understand the problem with it. That's the flip that's happened. All like the Democrats were even against it. And I, as a kid, was like, let them get fucking married. Who fucking cares, dude? Now I'm older. I understand. But the Democrats have flipped. Oh, what a weird dynamic. None of them believe in anything. It's all about keeping power.
Of course.
And you have to recognize, if you're a responsible person, like, hey, even if I just keep this to myself, like this might affect people someday, you know? I should probably maybe see what I can do about that.
Look at that. Vaush just cleared pedophilia by just saying, hey, this might hurt somebody. And they'll be like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. This is that restorative justice bullshit. This is why me and Scribbles have talked before about like capital punishment. And he's like, I want them to live the rest of their lives in a jail where they have to live with what they did. And you don't understand. That might work for some people, but most people who are out there murdering don't give a fuck that they did it. They wouldn't have done it. It's not a Hollywood movie where or let's say CSI, where the rapist turns himself in after the victim refuses to testify against him. It's like, no, that's not how the real fucking world works.
No, like they'll turn themselves in out of just horrifying guilt. No. Christmas Story had it right. It's always better to not get caught.
Yes.
Talk to somebody. Okay?
Man, can I just say how much I hate how my voice sounds in these old clips?
I hate how your voice sounds now.
I've never liked your voice, Vaush.
Yeah, it's very condescending and arrogant.
Oh, yeah, his tone makes it even worse.
It reminds me of somebody in high school who's drunk and trying really hard on a couch to talk somebody into sex.
Yeah, well, using like Chaucer to do it. I'm so intellectual.
Come on, just go. We can go upstairs, and we don't have like it's that voice. It's that creepy. I want sex way too bad, and now I'm begging for it voice.
Pat, thank you for correcting me there. I said CSI. It was SVU. It was Law and Order that did that stupid ass storyline.
So I think that I sound kind of stilted, and I think it's phrased a little weird because
Those are
I
women's
just wasn't.
frames.
It is Vaush.
He went to George Costanza's eye doctor. He got women's frames. You have women's frames, dude. What are you doing? I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. I just noticed it.
Hey, he's a huge size queen. He'll tell you that.
Yeah, I bet he is.
And experienced at
That is a direct quote, by the way.
I believe you. That's the sad part
Streaming.
about Vouch is I believe you. Didn't even question it.
Well, I just don't want to have a Steven Crowder, Carlos Meza, whatever his name was, moment where I just called him a huge size queen. That was his wording, not mine. It's a direct quote.
Well, the thing is,
then.
Vouch is so egotistical. He thinks even acknowledging people at our level would be would be beneath him. So we can say whatever we want about this cocksucker. He can't do anything. He'll never admit he watched.
Well, I called him a pedophile the other day, and I stand by it.
Okay, I'll do that now too. Yeah, you're a pedophile, Vouch.
And I'm basing that on the fact that you had drawn CP in your folder, and by your own argument, pedophilia is actually just wanting to have sex with children. It's not actually doing it. Thank you, Keldrig. I don't hear a significant difference between his voice now and his voice then.
That's like that's like saying HIV is just the virus that causes AIDS, so it's okay.
Yes.
We can have sex, dude. Like, no, it's still bad. It's still that you still need medication. That's still you're gonna die, dude. It's not. I can't. I can't.
Carlos Maza, thank you. The thing with the voice thing there, Vaush may not listen to himself very often. Not everybody's as conceited in their own voice as I am. Most people hate the sound of their own voice. I hate the sound of his voice mostly because of the stupid shit coming out of it.
and I think it's phrased a little weird because I just wasn't experienced at streaming back then.
You were experienced at talking, though, right?
Well,
This is such a bullshit argument because he falls back on it a few times in this. My experience streaming. You spoke before you started streaming, right?
Man, I've been doing this shit for 5 or 6 years now, man. I have never once come on the air and defended pedophiles or showed my desktop and there was CP on it. Like,
Right.
That's just it's never gonna happen. I don't know, Vouch. Like, this is not stuff you can explain away, buddy.
But it gives an excuse that, oh man, he was new to streaming. New to streaming has nothing to do with it. If you were talking about the cadence of his voice earlier on in your career, you might not have been as comfortable at the mic speaking. But that doesn't change what you say, retard. No, I was new. I didn't realize defending pedophiles was a bad thing. I hadn't thought about it.
I didn't know. Okay, yeah.
Some mall streamers go through.
Well, maybe if you're that dumb, you shouldn't speak with confidence all the time. Like you're the expert, and then have to backpedal later.
Again, even if you're the most charitable guys, the absolute most charitable you can be to Vaush here, what you should take from this is that you should never listen to Vaush because he's a retard. That's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, he's lost like 13,000 viewers subscribers since this started.
good.
But yeah, the message seems fine. As I
Is he still new to streaming?
Yes.
The message seems fine. The message was the problem, dickhead.
I don't know what to say. I'm kind of a loss.
Fuck.
I don't know. This is like we go back to the cheating. We go back to that cheating metaphor, man. This is somebody that's now trying to talk his way out of being found in bed with another woman. Man, like this is.
Yeah, it would have been smarter to just go with the "wasn't me" defense.
Yeah, it is. I don't know, man. Somebody must have hacked me.
understand it, encouraging pedos to go to therapy is like mathematically the most effective way of
What?
Yes, I'm sure that Psych Central would say that psychology is the answer, but can we get that from somebody who's not financially incentivized to think that?
A 2021 study indicates that CBT is effective in decreasing hypersexuality among pedophiles. Who's talking about hypersexuality?
Is anybody? Does CBT stand for castration? Is the C for castration? Because this could be true. What does that mean?
Castrate balls treatment. I don't know.
Yeah, like cut off balls and testicles. That would be. Then this would be accurate because it would.
We went through this in the Hunter Avalon debate. The only place that this has been tried in any real way is Germany. Germany decided that they were going to destigmatize pedophiles. In 2020, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's cognitive behavioral therapy.
Thank you. Cognitive behavioral therapy.
Thank you.
In 2021, the same year as this study, Germany had more sexual assaults of children than they'd ever had. So that destigmatizing is really working, isn't it? This is the kind of bullshit they pull. He pops this up on the screen. Did you actually go read the study? Did it show an actual decrease in children being abused? Oh, no, it showed that it turned down their hypersexuality. That is an important phrase right there, hypersexuality.
Well, I'm not hypersexual, but me and my girlfriend have sex.
Right.
That doesn't. That all you're doing is cutting down the frequency. This shouldn't. The number of times you attack a child sexually should be 0. Val.
Yes, thank you. It doesn't say decreasing their sexuality among pedophiles. No. Their hypersexuality. So they only beat off the kids once a day instead of twice.
If it was reducing sexuality, you would say it would be reducing sexual impulse, not hypersexuality.
Reducing the likelihood of children being harmed, which
that's not what that says. That is not what that says. You fucking disgusting piece of shit.
He doesn't know. He's like Hunter. He doesn't know how to read a study. He thinks he does because he thinks he's smarter than he is. And so he gets what he wants out of it and throws it away and never finishes.
He reads the parts that reinforce his preconceived notions, but then he just disregards the rest.
Well, in one of the ones that Hunter brought up, he quoted what the authors thought was going to happen instead of what actually happened. It was fucking amazing.
Well, Hunter's also the person that told me that giving you the mean derivation would be a ethics violation because you'd be revealing personal information.
Yeah. Hunter's a retard, but he is a Vaush disciple, and I keep bringing him up because of that. Vaush is the one who turned Hunter into who he is today. That's what Hunter himself says. And Hunter made this very argument.
Is the point, I would hope. It doesn't have the punch or the charm of the classic kill yourself debate tactic. Those elements are lacking, admittedly, but my understanding is that classic debate tactic also just tends to push them into like really insular, like-minded communities where they're more likely to enable each other's worst elements. So
you get that, guys? You're the reason that these people touch kids. If you would just accept them as kid touchers, they wouldn't touch the kids.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it works.
No, he just told me.
I'm going. I know this is gonna be weird, but I'm gonna forward a theory that this man is an idiot.
This man is absolutely an idiot.
I third the motion.
I'm thinking that it's possible we're listening to a moron right now.
I think it's probable that his dad played with the soft spot on his head as a child.
I'm wondering if he can fit back in his mother so we can put him back in there to finish baking at this point, or if just a taser would be able to help. Something's got to. I mean, he hasn't finished baking, obviously.
He just blamed people who think pedophilia is wrong for pedophiles. This is his defense, guys. This is the context.
I understand what he's what he's trying to say,
but it's ignorant.
There's no excuse for their behavior, so them grouping up isn't relevant. Like, I can then throw the whole group. Good, they're grouped up. That makes them an easier target, right? Like, we can just go in.
Lucky, if you didn't own all that stuff, a thief wouldn't try and break in.
That's true.
You created the thief by having stuff he didn't.
Yeah, really. By locking our doors, we're the ones that created organized crime.
You're incentivizing them. You're like, oh, now there's a mystery.
If there were no locks, we would have no need for the hole in the wall gang.
Exactly.
I don't even know what in this clip implicates me.
Well, the child pornography actually would be what implicated.
That he doesn't get what implicates him there is so telling. Because throughout this, and again, we skipped a lot at the beginning. You guys can watch it, and we'll see more of it coming up in these next 2 clips. But throughout this, his defense is, I just used to make bad arguments. I made myself look bad. The arguments are sound. I just made myself look bad. Well, it's because your argument wasn't sound. That's what makes you look bad.
Yeah, if your argument was sound, you wouldn't look that.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to argue against it. It would be like, look, that sounds fucking horrible, but he's right. I've had to say that before about things. Like, that's fucking horrible, but it's true. The problem is it's not true. You guys are just trying to make it so that pedophiles have a nicer life, and that should fucking disgust you.
Yeah, like, why are you so sympathetic to these people? Because they're humans? Like, what crime? Vaush, let me ask you, what crime do you have no sympathy for? Like, how bad can somebody be? What sin can they commit? How can they violently ruin somebody's life before you're like, okay, this person doesn't deserve to be here?
In this case, never.
Nothing, no crime. He's anti-death penalty. He's like, well, we should sympathize with pedophiles. How bad does somebody have to be, Vaush? What are you're just in your mind, you want to be Jesus? You just love everybody? That's not how life works. Some people are bad. Some people are evil.
And that would be, it would also be another thing if he wasn't like Nazis should die kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing I just don't. Oh God, don't even get me started on that, man. There's somebody I have a vendetta against, this crazy leftist woman, and I could go on all day about her calling other people terrorists while writing articles advising to throw bricks at TERFs.
Oh yeah. Because it's okay if you do it for the right reason.
Yeah, because they have a moral superiority complex. That's what that all boils down to. They hate the Nazis, but do you know what the Nazis had? A moral superiority complex that allowed them to do things to their enemies that they would not want done to them. Do you know what major religions did back? Something else you hate, Vaush, back in the day? They believed that God was on their side, which allowed them to do horrific things to other people that they wouldn't want done to them.
Yep. But they never get that point because they're the righteous ones. The righteous,
that ego goes right along with that moral superiority, because they know they're weak, cowardly pieces of shit with no substance, no principles, and no purpose in life. And this is now their purpose. They have a purpose now. This is their thing.
All right, the next one. Oh, this is the clip, guys. This is the one that we watched the other day where I went through it. Where I'm taking out everybody. He's taken out of context. Actually putting it in context makes it worse. But let's hear Vaush defend himself.
To be honest. But all right, enough with the clips that are easy for me to defend.
We didn't watch this really tiny one right here we're coming back to. I just want you guys to remember that the easy ones to defend that he's done so far. Just remember that when we come back to that later.
Okay.
Address the clip that I see second most often. It's probably my least favorite one because it is so stupid and so unnecessary, and the bad optics of it aren't even from the argument that I was trying to make. You know,
he was just a new streamer, y'all. He was just new. He didn't know how to make arguments.
Yeah.
Here, enjoy the terrible clip.
Please.
Okay, once again, guys, if you're watching the screen, it's in black and white now because this is where he's saying he's being taken out of context. It'll go into color when the important context comes in.
Please, right now, uncuck your dumb shit, libcuck fucking SJW brains and recognize this empirically correct fact that I am about to spit. It is possible for an adult and a child to have a sexual relationship and for it to have positive outcomes.
No, it's not.
On the child as well.
No.
That is possible.
Nope.
Man, look at how cool and logical I am, calling people libcucks for having the audacity to take issue with anything that I'm saying there.
Hey, Vaush. Vaush, let me ask you a question, man. Is it possible for me to murder you in a healthy way?
He actually kind of addresses that.
Oh, okay. Well, since you're not murdering the child, you're just ruining their life for the rest of their life. Is it possible I could snap your spine and paralyze you for life and ruin your life in a healthy way, Vaush? Is that possible? Now, you can become a Buddhist and find happiness at some point, I'm sure, and achieve enlightenment. But how likely is that? Wouldn't you rather I didn't snap your fucking back? I'm not going to hurt you, Vaush. Don't send the cops to my house. This is a question. This is hypothetical. I'm relating to what you just said. You're in no danger of having your back broken by me. But think about that.
I want to address how he just did that, because he comes out of this like, oh, look at how you take me seriously when I'm being edgy. He's trying to make it sound like it doesn't really mean anything because clearly he was just being edgy there.
Oh,
that doesn't excuse what you said being edgy, asshole. I called him lib cucks. Yeah, that's how you talk normally. I've seen your shit before. But he's trying to dismiss it as though, hey, it doesn't really mean that much because, look, I was clearly being edgy. Nobody's denying you were being edgy. We're saying what you said while being edgy was fucking retarded.
Vaush, I'd like to refer you to a man named James Robert Clark. He's a guy who came on the internet and repeatedly, about 200 screenshots that I had, sexualized children, said he wanted to have sex with 15-year-olds, go to Ecuador to have sex with 14-year-olds. Because he's kind of tarded, he didn't really catch on that the internet isn't into that fucking creepy shit, and they turned on him. And then he tried to turn around and say it was all jokes. And I had to remind him that, one thing can be a joke. One or two things can be a joke. But at the point that I have 200 screenshots of you unironically sexualizing children, posting gymnasts on your community tab, shit like that, it's not a fucking joke. You're doing this way too much. You're way too obsessed with this. This is not Mersh's Dakota Fanning joke that he told on stage 10 years ago. This isn't Jimmy Carr telling a joke being like, my therapist said that I should try talking dirty to my girlfriend, or my girlfriend should talk dirty to me to spice up our sex life. But who wants to hear that language from a child?
Right.
That's not a joke. Like you're not making a joke. You're not like you're unironically trying to make arguments for these people.
And he's mad at his audience for not agreeing with him here.
Yeah, he doesn't like that.
You can tell edgy jokes or you could be edgy serious. They're two different things.
There's a way to tell jokes, man. I tell jokes about terrible shit, 5 nights a week. But not one person. Well, okay, one person, one really stupid liberal, but not anyone reasonable has ever thought that any of it was anything but jokes.
My IQ must be massive the way I'm willing to, and this is the charitable take here, saw my own legs off at the knee, optically speaking. No points for guessing this clip's from 2019, same as the fucking child labor argument. So same era, same brain. Before I can explain what
it's literally the same kind of argument that he's making, because the overall argument there was about child labor. This is why Keffels came out and went, fuck Vaush, how dare he destroy my career. I don't know if you guys saw that. It's fucking funny. Basically, Keffels came out like, I stood up for you and burned the last bridge I had with the large influencer, because she decided to go after Ethan Klein for finally getting something right.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised.
And
like he's a typewriters,
right. And Keffels is like, how dare you make me defend? You didn't have to stand up for this asshole. Most of the internet saw it and went, yeah, this is fucking degeneracy.
Hey, Keffels, I had a real friend. This man has stayed in my house, and he was on the internet. He was an internet person. He had a show. He asked a bunch of people to write letters because he said that he got in a fight at some protest back in the day or something. And the judge was considering that he got a lawyer, and they were considering wiping this off his record. And so people, could you write a letter? Don't mention the crime or anything. Just, what I've done since then. And I'm a good person since then. Turns out this motherfucker ended up, he got in trouble for sexual battery on an underage girl. It wasn't. Oof. Yeah. And this person was a friend. I disavowed that motherfucker immediately when I found out what he did. Never spoke with him again. And to this day, it hurts because I do feel like I'm like, that did not feel good to do. But I'm not going to defend a fucking child sex offender.
Right.
No, of course not.
The right thing to do doesn't always feel great, but it is the right thing to do. You can live without regret that way.
I don't know how much you've been watching this whole thing unfold, though. A lot of these people, like, they went after Ethan, like, they stood up for you before, as though just because you've stood up for something. I will stand up for you when you're right. If you're wrong, I'm going to go, no, you're wrong.
You're a woman if you think that. If you think that your friends should defend you when you're wrong, you're a woman. That's what women do. Blindly defend. Men gut check our friends because we don't want our friends to do stupid shit.
Even Hassan Piker came out and went, that's fucking stupid. But
I think Vaush
anyhow,
needs to. I think Vaush is too. He's been in this game and ruined his name so bad. This is really all he can do.
yeah.
And he's not going to give away that. He's not going to go to something that that pays less. So he's fucked. If he was smart, he'd hang it up right now.
Oh,
but he can't. Now you're
yes, he can.
Now you're Ethan Ralph in his worst times, where you can't hang it up, and people are just gonna beat the shit out of you online. But you're not gonna get a redemption.
The difference between him and Ethan is Vaush is a rich kid.
I'm sorry, I have to answer this. I do Dangerous Spaces, but I would rather you send I did a show tonight. I made way more money than I deserve. So please, if you have a question for me, send it to Monkey. He'll read it and I will answer it just like this.
I think he's asking to put it into the pin thing at the top.
Oh no, don't do that. Not tonight, man. I made I'm not gonna give you a number, that's rude, but I made way more than I deserve tonight. Like, keep all the money.
Wait, what was your topic? Because I feel like I have something to say about it.
It was late night. We had like 30 of them.
I'm just trying to steal his content for money, guys. I'll be honest.
Go. The rewatch crew is watching it right now. I have no idea. It's how it is with streaming, man. It's like going to a casino. Sometimes you do nothing. Sometimes you do amazing. It's just one of those days.
It's those nights where just out of nowhere everything blows up. And you're like, how did I do that?
Yeah, one person donates $100 and like 13 more people do the same thing for some reason. Okay, thank you.
Alan says, I want my friends to tell me when I fuck up. Me too.
Yeah, absolutely. How else are you going to improve as a person?
What's going on?
Dangerous
here?
Spaces.
Thank
you for honoring me. I just can't accept it tonight. It would insult me if you did. Please give money to Monkey. Everybody. And don't
Jack.
Ignore my dog running on wood floors. Let me go close my door. She's chasing the cat. Back and forth across the living room.
Finish the point that I was making, because this is a really nasty clip.
It is possible for an adult and a child to have a sexual relationship and for it to have positive outcomes.
Nope.
On the child as well.
Nope.
No.
That is possible. However,
okay, now it's gone into the blue. So we got color back on the screen. So he's about to give us the full context. That was insidious, particularly disgusting. Now with the full context.
Categorically, we discourage those relationships because, as a rule, it is substantially more likely that enabling them would cause harm in society. That's the difference between act and rule utilitarianism.
Okay, let's stop right there for a second. He says it's substantially more likely to be harmful. What if it was only 25%? What if only 25% of kids got that bad outcome, Vaush? Would it be okay then?
No.
Hey, Vaush, how many transgender people am I allowed to discriminate against?
Well,
not even ruin their lives. How many am I just allowed to be like, nah, you can't have an apartment in this building?
It depends on how many get a negative impact from it.
Oh, yeah? What if it was 25%, Vaush? Would that be okay? Would that be okay? So that's off the table. Just being mean, but fucking kids, you're willing to entertain that one?
This is the defense. This is the part that you guys needed the context to.
There wouldn't be a need for the rule if the act wasn't God damn it. I think I just broke a blood vessel in my eye. God damn it, Vaush. You're so stupid. You actually you violently harmed me with your stupidity.
An act utilitarian would say, oh, this is an instance where it was good for the adult and the minor to have sex. That would make it a good action. But the rule utilitarian, which is what I am, would say, even though that individual outcome was good, the act was still bad because in general, in a broader application, for adults and children to have sex with one another leads to horribly destructive outcomes.
Hey, Vaush, can you name me in recent times? Don't go back to the Bible or Muhammad or nothing. A time when an adult and a child were in a sexual relationship and it had positive outcomes. Can you give me an example of that? You say this happens. No. Can you give me an example of that happening?
No, he can't because
Yeah.
it doesn't happen.
Because it's all a figment of your fucking imagination, you pedophile.
Wait till he gets to his analogies.
Oh, hey, dude,
Just wait till he gets to those.
I got to bail because I got.
Oh
driving.
yeah. Chances are we'll still be going. I know you're not feeling well, but if you are, come back.
Oh yeah, I will. Good
right.
talking to you, AP. See
Hey,
you,
take it easy, Jack. Always
Hey,
good
drive
talking to
safe,
you.
my friend.
Oh yeah, later, chat.
He takes his sister-in-law to work every day, and he's got to go run her in.
Good man.
Okay,
For that reason, it is an unethical act.
that's not why it's an unethical act. It's
No,
because it's sex with a child. You fucking reject.
I think you're overthinking this a little bit, asshole. Yeah, I don't know what to say anymore.
All right, so now we have what he considers to be the full important context.
Well,
This is so fucking stupid. Oh god, here I really don't even want to hit play. It's gonna make my brain hurt. He's got a point here, AP. I promise you he does. It's not a good one. Thank you so much, Alan, who says his life makes me sad. His life makes me think he should be in a fucking asylum at the very least.
Yeah, look at that. Whoever cut this clip ended it right before I said, but really nasty work. And I clearly don't need the help making myself look terrible. So
all you did was repeat yourself.
Yeah,
I would have edited that too, because an audience doesn't need to listen to you say the same fucking thing twice. We get it. You're a ped.
we did this the other night when we watched the day that this all I think it was actually the second day this all blew up that we talked about it. I went through this very clip because this is the one that they always point to. See, he's taken out of context. He says it's bad. He still says it can be good. It's just overall bad because it's overall bad for everyone. But there can be instances where it's good. That just doesn't make the overall. That is not a good defense.
Hey, Vaush, I got a question for you. There are instances where it's good to beat the shit out of your child. I'll give you an example. You're going to cause him horrific post-traumatic stress disorder. He's going to be fucked up the rest of his life, but he might grow up tough. The boy's named Sue and all that.
Yeah.
You think it's okay to beat the shit out of your child?
Toughen them up.
Just to toughen him up? That's a positive result from something negative. You think that's okay? Or maybe you should find another way to bond with your kid.
Don't say bond with kid with him because he's going to touch something.
Yeah, he's going to try to permanently affix his hand to a child's butt. And like with Bondo, I get it. But
all right.
All right.
What's going on here? What point am I clearly failing to make? And why did I say any of that terrible shit?
because
what I'm trying
the
to
truth
explain,
is it's just bad, you idiot. I don't mean to keep making you pause.
No,
I was
anytime.
hoping you would just keep playing, but yeah.
How about this? If you want me to actually stop it, say stop. Otherwise, feel free to talk over it.
Cool. So I'm like,
that's typically how I do it.
Murder is bad, but it can be good. Breaking someone's back, just an innocent person can be good. Maybe they'll find enlightenment. So
Okay, you keep going to analogies. I want you to think of the dumbest thing you could think of that he'd use as an analogy of where something is bad but can be good.
The dumbest thing, is it sexual?
Not sexual.
He's going to use the murder analogy, isn't he?
Not exactly, but kind of.
I want to hear it.
Poorly, mind you, is the difference between act and rule utilitarianism. They're two different ways of understanding what's right and what's wrong. At least that's what I thought back then. To understand what I was thinking at the time, I'm going to have to explain this in the context of my...
I have to say a whole bunch of bullshit so that you guys forget what I actually said. All he's going to do
I've seen this technique
here,
before.
He's trying to take the same argument that he made and dress it up nicer so that it's not about pedophilia. So they're like, see, guys, that's all I meant, is that sometimes people can think something's good when it's actually bad because it's good for them. It's a nonsense way to just distract. This is a propaganda video, guys.
My past self's, like sophomoric Dunning-Kruger-esque understanding
You were a grown ass.
We have to enter the very tiny shoes of my brain back then.
And still.
Vaush, let me explain really simply to you why this argument you're making right now is stupid. You haven't changed. You're defending what you said then.
Yep.
You with your quote past self. Like, I'll take an example out of my own life, right? I've done some bad things. I have made some mistakes in my time. I will tell you, if I think it's a mistake and I did something wrong, I'm not going to repeat that mistake and I'm not going to defend it.
Yeah.
That's when you've changed and people will leave you the fuck alone. You didn't come out here and say, dude, it was 6 years ago. I was being fucking edgy. I didn't mean a word of that shit. That you could have said that.
Yep. But this was his example. And using his logic, that example makes sense. But it's very bad logic.
I used to run a stream called the Blunt Stream, where I would have like Klansmen set people on fire when people would donate. Not just black people, everybody, because it was edgy. If you ask me why I don't do that today, I'd say because that's a little fucked up. And I've decided not to be fucked up like that anymore. I think that's a little far. I think that's something that I wouldn't like my child or my mother to be like their last thought of me if that's what I leave on the internet when I die.
And
why can't you be cool like me, Vaush?
That is the only real defense here, is that other than he's just stupid, guys. That is his best defense. But if he wanted to actually come out and do something like, guys, I said really, really stupid shit that I don't agree with. I made mistakes and I'm trying. The problem with that argument is he was just caught with Lolly on his.
Okay, that wouldn't work with him today. I'm not still doing flash animations of really horrific.
Right.
I mean, you know, we're shooting Pablo, but Pablo's a piece of shit. Like, it's itchy and scratchy shit with Pablo. There's nothing personal there. But
Right.
I don't know what to say, man. You haven't changed, Vaush. You're still defending this.
Let's be honest. If we're watching your current streams and you only catch one episode of it, it would be very easy to come away with it going, dear Christ, that dude's a fucking racist. But if you watch
not as much as it used to be, believe it or not.
No, even then, I hear you. But even if you go back to when it was more edgy, if you watch the entirety of it, that is out of context because he set a black person on fire. Yeah, but did you show where he did other people too, or no?
Oh yeah, I was also setting the white people on fire. Yeah, it wasn't personal for blacks. It was just funny to use Klansmen because Clan of Dusty. Remember the whole Clan of Dusty thing?
Yes.
He's the Dusty Smith. That's why. It wasn't like I wasn't trying to like bring back the Klan. It was a Clan of Dusty joke.
Exactly. And that is context. There's nothing that actually changes the context of what he said here.
Yeah, we never animated fucking children. That was never done.
And again, when he's caught with it on his computer just 2 weeks, last week, right? It hasn't even been that long. No, I was a different person then. Sure.
I don't know why people even have shit like that on their computers, man. I guess we're just from a different generation where somebody can always roll up and find the shit in your room. You know, so I would never even have that on my computer. I had somebody threaten me with the fucking FBI one time, and I called a police officer and invited them to go through my shit. It's like, please, there is nothing you're going to find illegal on my shit.
Really, probably just never getting YouTube famous is solid advice. All the communities are weird and self-destructive for the most part.
Create your own. Don't depend on other people. Create your own thing. Don't work alone. Create your own thing. If you have, but don't. Yeah, that's communities are shit. Create your own shit. Don't join something else. That way you can. The right type of people will gravitate. Just be yourself. Make your own thing.
Never been in the communities around here. I have friends. And when I think my friends are wrong, me and Bear used to be really good friends. We still are. We just haven't got to talk a lot lately. But I made 2 videos calling him out. Because I'm honest to me, not to the group. Sometimes if the people you're hanging out with, you all agree all the time, you need to get into a different group.
There are some people that are they're like children.
Mm-hmm.
You can't give them criticism and you can't tell them when they're wrong. We all know someone like that.
Yeah. I've never fit in with the communities because I do. If you say something stupid, I'm going to say you said something stupid.
Yeah. Like, I don't care if you're emotionally fragile about it. If it's deceptive and shitty, I'm going to say something. And if you argue with me about it, I will get the proof that it's deceptive and shitty, and I'll put it to video. This is YouTube.
The problem is that the communities pop up, and they're mini religions, they're little tribes, and our way is always the best. It's team sports, and I hate that shit.
Yeah, there's no there's no more, again, like you talked about earlier, there's really no more truth.
Yeah.
One side says this is, and the other side just immediately does the opposite.
Yep.
And that's bad because like, look at it in bipartisan politics. Democrats are right about certain things. I would like to legalize marijuana. And Republicans are right about, in my opinion, more things. But you can't just play opposition.
No.
They're like, and that's one thing I'm actually grateful for, because the illegal immigration issue is one of the only things where even Democrats, that's something they're not afraid to see the truth of, because now it's hurting them.
But look at how that one plays out. Before Trump, everybody agrees illegal immigration is an issue. I mean, you have Clinton on tape doing it, you have Obama talking about it.
Oh, wait, no, but let me correct you there. It gets even better than that. The Republicans were the ones I was pissed off about illegal immigration. George W. Bush, they're just doing the jobs that Americans won't do.
Yes. And then Trump pops up with, we need to build a wall. And suddenly the Democrats are like, who's going to pick our fruit?
The world must be invited into our backyard, no matter if they've been living by rules for the last 40 years that include rape and murder is fine. Just let them in. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. We'll give them cable and they'll just become normal, civilized individuals.
Yep. This is why I believe in principles. And I keep telling you guys this over and over. Have principles. If somebody's doing something fucked up and you start doing it because they're doing it, then you're a piece of shit like they are. And if the only reason you support something is because Trump said it or because Biden said it, even though you were arguing against it last week, then you're an idiot.
I use the word substance when we talk about this exact subject. A lot of people don't have substance. We have adults we know in the world with us right now who don't know who they are at 40 years old. They have no purpose. They don't know who they are or what they're about. They tune into the internet and they just copy whatever opinion is there.
This is more of the issue with the internet, because back in the day before the internet, people didn't have the tribes to go to. Your tribe was your church, your workplace. It was people you interacted with on a daily basis.
Right. Your family. That's why when family was more important. You didn't have family, you were alone.
But even then, you always have more followers than you have leaders. And by leaders, guys, I do not think I'm some thought leader. But clearly people watch this show to hear my opinion because they agree with me. You all don't have your own shows out there saying the same things, because most people aren't comfortable in that position, putting themselves out there. It doesn't mean they can't have thoughts. I mean, they do, clearly. But more people, there's always more leaders than there are followers, because if not, you don't really have a group.
And a lot of, it's human nature for most people to just not want trouble.
Yes.
I don't want no trouble.
Thank you.
Then there's people, it's not that necessarily I'm any kind of leader. I just don't, it's not my personality to shrug away from trouble.
Me neither. Going all the way. It was so funny when my kids got to meet my foster sister for the first time when they were, I think my daughter was 18 at the time. And so, of course, my foster sister has to tell my children all about their dad when he was young. And she's like, yeah, he's been this way literally since I know him. And she met me when I was 4. She's like, even when he was really little, if he thought his mom was wrong, he would tell her. I can't keep my mouth closed.
Yeah, it's some people's personality.
It's why I took to streaming, is because it's like, wait, I can just talk and people will hear me.
I thought I was alone in the world.
Yes.
When I started streaming, I was working in an office. Everyone had to play polite. I didn't know about. I thought I was alone. I would see things and have these thoughts, and I just kept it to myself. And then we started streaming and found out, it was like that scene in. I'll never forget it. It was like that scene in My Blue Heaven. Well, you're not alone.
Oh yeah.
Trust me, you are not alone.
I
But
love
that
the
was
end
the
of it.
world before the internet. Remember when you couldn't just go find your tribe out there no matter where they lived. I was living in Houston. I was working mostly, and I'm not saying anything by this, but let's just call it what it is. I was working with mostly African American and Latino people. At that time, they were a lot of blue voters. I was hearing their arguments all day long, or I was listening to music on the way home. It wasn't until I just turned on AM radio when I was a courier for a visa and passport company, going from consulate to passport agency to consulate to consulate to consulate, that I started to realize I'm not necessarily alone. And then I discovered the internet. And I think, no, you know what I discovered first? Sargon and Bering were the two guys on, like, I remember those were the videos that came across my feed where I was like, I'm not alone. And hey, before everyone says, oh, Sargon, it was like 2015, okay? So chill out. But
Sargon still, look, my, I don't want to say decision. Me not joining the whole anti-SJW community, hanging out with all of those guys, that all started because of Sargon, because he reported Chrisiosity for saying she was going to harass him on Twitter to get her silenced. And everybody went, yeah, use her, argue, or their tactics against them. Like, but this is shit he argues against. This is stuff. I mean, he's against censorship, and he's censoring somebody because they said on Twitter that they were going to tweet at him every day. And I took a lot of shit for that one, AP, because no, he's just using their tactics. Like, yeah, tactics that he says is wrong.
Yeah, you got to be a little more principled than that.
That's why I use the word principle, because that's what it is to me.
Let me tell you what my principles are on that. I don't believe in taking away your platform, your free speech, any reporting, anything like that, until you do it to me. That's now, if Sargon had said those are his principles, and that may be, I will admit where I am shitty. I'm not going to, I think these are kind of human traits. Nobody treats their enemies the same as their friends. You know what I mean? I just admit where I'm shitty. If you were to flag me, hypothetically, and flag my channel, I got a strike, then go around bragging about it, and you had a bunch of crap on your channel that was against terms of service, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to go hit it. I never would have done it until you played that game with me, but it's called like force. I respond with like force. Those are my principles. Monkey has different principles. He won't play that game at all. But I mean, Sargon, you can't do stuff that runs contrary to those principles. Otherwise, then you're an asshole.
Yeah, and see, you admit it though. Your principle is, if you do this to me, I will do it back.
Mm-hmm.
But when your principle is, I am in favor of free speech and not shutting anybody down, and then you do it because it was done to you, and by this time it had been done many times to him, so it's not like it was a brand new thing. He was tired of it, and instead of just admitting, I'm going to be a child about it too, which is what he was doing, he tried to be like, no, you won't. It's because it's harassment.
Nope, just say you're going to be a child about it.
Yeah.
Do what I would do.
Just be honest.
Yeah, being a fucking child about it. I'm petty and I'm pissed off and I'm going to hurt this person. Fuck them.
Yep.
I say it all the time.
I'm not above being petty.
Yeah.
I try to be as honest as I can about, both friends and enemies. That's why, yes, I've actually stood up for Bernie Sanders, even though I think he's a commie piece of shit.
I think Bernie Sanders at least has consistent beliefs that he sticks by. Bernie Sanders was the only one standing in the fucking house saying we should not go on 9/12, saying we should not just run into a war in the Middle East. This is a bad idea. We're going to get mired down there for 20 fucking years. We should not do this. I don't like Bernie. I wouldn't vote for him, but goddamn.
I basically said that about Bernie. At least I know what he stands for.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that.
I know who he
is.
I'll
take that over this piece of shit on the screen every day of the week.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, let's get back to we got to get to his comparisons.
Yeah, we're fucking around.
We don't get to talk enough is the problem.
I know. It just happens every time we get together.
Into the shoes of my brain back then. And back then, as I understood it, act utilitarians decide if an action is moral
literally just
by assessing the outcomes of that action, right? So you throw a brick at a person, it hits them, it hurts them. That's a bad outcome. Okay, so don't.
Right, so we can infer throwing bricks at people is a bad thing, right? We don't have to say, well, some brick throwing possibly could be positive.
Don't get ahead of him here because he's about to make that argument.
Okay.
And rule utilitarians do this while also considering the value of broader judgments or rules that might consider an action moral or immoral by default, based on a general judgment of the expected outcomes. So we have rules against throwing bricks at people, not because the outcomes are always bad. I mean, you could miss, for example, and not really do much of anything, but we still have laws against that because the expected outcome of throwing a brick at a person is bad, averaged out, and you want to prevent people from doing that thing generally rather.
Actually, Vaush, we do have different laws for if you throw a brick at somebody and miss, and if you throw a brick at them and hit them.
Yeah, that's why it's called attempted murder.
Assault and battery are two different things, my friend.
Menacing with a gun is different than shooting someone with a gun, Vaush, but it is a crime.
Than just like letting people hope that the individual outcome of a specific thrown brick might be good. Does that make sense?
No, because because the topic we're discussing is pedophilia. Like that's what.
and he's just wrong in his example.
No, it doesn't make sense as a matter of fact, Vouch.
Again, none of this is a good understanding of utilitarianism. So I'm trying to explain how I thought about it. I know you'll have to read up on the subject elsewhere. Don't get your normative ethics lessons from me.
There
Please
is no point that I read up on utilitarianism that it's going to cover the crap that just came out of your mouth, Vouch. Stop.
If he had used the brick example back then, he wouldn't be being called a pedophile now.
Right?
But where did his brain go for that argument?
Why were you talking about fucking kids instead of throwing bricks, Vouch? That's a great point.
Jesus. There's and he has more. The one that I want you to hear is coming up. But that's where his head went. And that is why you're getting the criticism, dickhead.
God. So let me continue with the distinction. In the, I guess, to keep with the theme of bricks, we would consider it morally wrong to toss cinder blocks off of a highway overpass.
This is the part I want you to hear.
Okay. Yes, I would consider that morally wrong. That could severely hurt somebody.
Well, using his logic, you could be, and this is not where he's going to go. It's not always wrong to throw a cinder. What if you are on a road crew that has been shut down and you're supposed to be tossing the bricks over because somebody down below is going to clean them up later? See, this is the problem.
Yeah, but see, Vouch, there's no job you can go on where you're supposed to fuck a kid.
Yes,
so
yes.
Your analogy isn't working.
Oh, but he's going to make it fit.
Okay, I'm excited.
Most people would agree that's bad. It's possible, however, incredibly unlikely, that doing so might actually end in having a positive outcome. Maybe the cinder block, it goes through the windshield and it smashes the face of a kidnapper, and the car crashes, and the kidnappee is able to escape.
Okay, so multiverse theory is what you're going with? You're going multiverse theory. So you're saying you could fuck this kid, and it would fuck that person up, but they were going to become Hitler if you didn't fuck them.
You could accidentally kill a kidnapper. Now, Vaush, if it's me and I'm in the situation you're in, instead of that being a kidnapper, that would have been a pedophile driving the car. You could accidentally kill a pedophile, therefore making the world a better place. Is that not the better example to use?
I guess, if I went around murdering babies, eventually I would kill the next Chairman Mao.
Exactly. Hey, look, the weirdest thing could happen.
What you're talking about is multiverse theory. Somewhere in the multiverse, diddling has positive results.
Yeah.
But you don't live in that dimension. You don't live in that dimension, Vaush.
If we look at his analogy there, guys, the brick throwing is sex with a child. So, if you have sex with a child, you might be able to stop somebody from kidnapping or whatever the bad thing
from
is.
Having sex with the child.
Yeah. Look, if I'm killer, or if I hadn't have been raping that kid at the moment, he might have been killed. It could have happened. It could have saved his life. That is the argument you're making here, retard. This is why I pointed out earlier where he's like, look, I was just new to the internet. I was new to streaming. I made a bad argument. Yeah, you haven't gotten any better with it.
I don't know what to say. I was once new to streaming, and I made a lot of bad arguments, but nobody could really call me a pedophile because of it. If I didn't use child fucking as an example of a positive, like ever. I don't know what to tell you about.
You
just gotta take this one.
You can throw a brick off of an overpass and not hit any cars or cause any problems. You can't fuck a child and not cause problems.
I think in the case that you throw it off the overpass on the empty road, maybe he's talking about jerking off.
Maybe.
But, in that case, all I consider you doing is getting practice in for when you go to the freeway.
Look, the freeway was a drawing. Anyway.
Safety, right? I mean, and that's a morally good outcome from the action, So the question is then.
Here's what you can do, Vaush. Explain, because this is my problem with your statement. And you were trying to ask this. What is the good outcome? Because you said unequivocally there can be a good outcome. What is it? Give me an example.
Hey, Vaush, I'm reading the news right now. A missing 11-year-old girl was found dead in the Trinity River. What positive outcome could have come from that?
Well, if somebody had been on an overpass with a brick, that might not have happened.
Oh, if we threw this girl off an overpass, it would have been different.
Thank you, Evolved Potato. Vaush is one of the types of people that would do well in academia if he wasn't so immensely idiotic. Actually, he'd fit right in. Most of what he says, he just repeats from them.
Literally, the whole time I've been listening to him talk, I was thinking about some of my old college professors. Like, I was thinking to myself, he talks like a fucking college professor. This could be a 10-minute lecture, but he knows he has to stretch it out for an hour.
Evolve goes on to say he likes to speak a lot and uses a lot of words to just repeat himself to try and make him sound smarter than he really is. And in fairness, that is something that just people do in general when they're caught doing really bad shit and they're trying to explain it away. You're right about the academia side of it, but it's also just a human thing. Tyrite, thank you. Did he really just use the 0.000000001% chances ever with a thrown brick? Yes, he did.
Vaush, do me a favor. Put your hand on the table. I'm going to play knife roulette with your fingers. Is that okay? No, but there's a chance I won't stab you in the hand.
You know what? I can, because you said that. There is a good that could come of that, and I use this from a real example. You could accidentally slice off his finger, and that finger could have had cancer in it.
Don't help him. Don't help this asshole. Did that happen? On a totally unrelated to what he just said, no. Did that happen?
Kind of. There was a guy I know, he was mowing his lawn, and the blade got stuck. So without disconnecting the spark plug, he reached his hand underneath it.
Oh, fuck.
It took off 2 of his fingers. And when they tried putting him back on, it wouldn't take. And because of that, they actually caught a cancer that he had very early, and he was able to survive.
I think
that does not mean you go stick your fingers underneath a fucking lawnmower.
No, man. That's, if it's a situation where you can look back on it and go, I think maybe God did that.
Yeah.
Then maybe you'd have a point. But I can't ever remember a pedophile saying that. Like, yeah, okay, no, I take it back. There's entire religions in the Middle East that are like, well, God did. It's totally cool to rape kids. God wants us to. So I take that back.
But the issue there is he was sticking his hands underneath a lawnmower, not inside a child.
Yeah, and he also wasn't trying to cut his fingers off. It was an accident. Like, I would never beat a child. There's a difference between beating a child and, let's say, you turn around too fast in a crowded place like a family reunion and you end up like bitch slapping some kid who's just at the level of. There's a difference, man. Like, one, you say, holy shit, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
All he has to do to make this argument worth discussing is explain to me how it can be good for a child and an adult to have sex.
We can't do that.
He can't, because there isn't one.
He's sure that universe exists, and like Rick from Rick and Morty, he's just going to go from universe to universe till he finds child fuckia, but he hasn't found it yet.
Well, see, if that pedophile wasn't abusing that kid at that time, he could have been walking down the street and found a brick that he threw off an overpass.
He could have been Hitler.
It's so fucking disingenuous.
And is an action morally wrong if its expected outcome is overwhelmingly likely to be bad, but it somehow just through sheer chance ends up not being bad? You know, is it morally wrong to drunkenly drive through the front doors of a school if the only person you hit is, by sheer coincidence, about to do a school shooting?
Yes.
You know,
Yes, that's still wrong because it happened by coincidence.
Yeah.
Because you weren't aiming at somebody you knew was going to do a shooting, and there was just an innocent fucking person as far as you knew. You shouldn't have been drunk and crashing into a school, you asshole. Yeah, it absolutely is. What the fuck are you talking about, Vaush?
And again, just give the example. Instead of using these analogies, give an example. Where is the positive outcome for a child getting raped by an adult?
You can't.
Just one, Val. Just one.
Can't. He's going to go back to Jerry Lee Lewis.
He goes to school shooters and throwing bricks to accidentally kill kidnappers.
Actually, I would have, if I was in his shoes, which I would never be because I'm not a kitty fucker, I'd have pulled Jerry Lee Lewis out of my ass by now. I'm like, what about Jerry Lee Lewis?
Still wrong.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. But they stayed together,
I
right,
know,
Vaush?
No, you have to understand these are the high IQ moral conundrums that only the smartest debate bro YouTubers can even hope to grapple with.
And see, here he's doing this other thing where he's like, guys, I was just dumb then. Your examples now make far more sense than using pedophilia, you fucking weirdo.
Why would you use that for an example of anything other than pedophilia?
Yeah, because his other two, as far-fetched as they are, sure, could happen. Is it likely? Very not. But again, you're using those as reasons why you don't do it. But you're giving a positive outcome. He can't do that with pedophilia because there isn't a positive outcome. That's the issue, shithead. But if you guys look at it without pedophilia, we wouldn't be looking at it with the pedophilia thing if you hadn't have used it, dumbass.
For somebody who accuses people of turning back the clock all the time, Vaush, because you're a progressive, it seems like you really want to turn back the clock to like the year 1300 when people only lived to be 30 years old. So it was appropriate to like marry a 12-year-old because they were going to live and be strong long enough to help on the farm.
At any rate, in the full clip, I'm clearly siding with the rule utilitarian argument here, that all of these actions would be immoral regardless of outcome. You know,
you keep glossing over that you think there can be a good outcome. That's the fucking issue, weirdo. Thank you, Dark Conservatarian. Whoops, wrong thing. That one. I've got an idea for the Sherlock fetus movie. It could take place in the Dune universe, since in there, if a pregnant woman ingested the spice, her child would, in theory, become smarter than her.
Impossible, because white people don't like spices.
That's true.
They don't season anything. I'm told by black people that they do not season anything, so white people could never handle that much spice.
You're wrong. They will tell you we use salt.
Oh, we do use salt.
We use salt. And we do.
That's true. They got us there.
We do the salt.
We salt the shit out of everything. That's true. So true.
Dude, my dad, he would salt stuff to the point of impossible to eat. And he passed that shit on to my daughter.
I used to in my impoverished young days, eat salt and butter sandwiches. Because that's what we had. Yeah, I also had 3 heart attacks at 38 years old. So
I did mayonnaise sandwiches. If we were well off that week, I might do pickle sandwiches.
You throw some Miracle Whip on there? You threw real mayonnaise?
No, Miracle Whip, not mayonnaise. That's just gross.
I was about to say, man.
I just say mayo because it's the catch-all.
Well,
I
don't know if you should be putting mayo on a sandwich. It's kind of like throwing a brick off a freeway monkey.
Yeah, but sometimes it has good results. Like I'm not hungry anymore.
But what if the person making that sandwich was molesting a child at the time? Would you still eat it?
Well, if he was making the sandwich at the time, he couldn't be molesting a child.
That's the positive result.
That's right.
Oh.
Because categorically the harm is we're engaging with my understanding at the time. I feel so bad. I know more about the subject now than I did then, so I feel like I'm re-explaining bad logic. But look, 2 things set me up to fail here. Well, one thing did, the thing being me, but I set myself up to fail in 2 ways.
Okay.
My aforementioned tendency to engage in pointlessly edgy, contrarian, ooh, the normies won't like this one, bullshit.
Yeah, we didn't watch that part, but that is a big part early on where he's just like, I was just being edgy, you guys, because it was the cool thing to be edgy at the time. Lots of people were edgy at the time. Very few of you defended pedophilia, dickhead.
I mean, quite frankly, had he just been like, dude, I was being edgy. I was being a fucking edgy boy. It's wrong. I was completely wrong to say that. I thought I was just being edgy, but I had no idea how many people in the world had suffered from that shit. I didn't, and I was fucking wrong, and you haven't heard me mention it since. I'd have totally let this go. I'm like, yeah, we all make mistakes. Whatever.
He can't say that with him going unequivocally, look, guys, you just get it through your fucking heads. It can be good.
No, he's got borderline personality disorder. He has to be right about something. He cannot let it go if he's wrong. His brain cannot be wrong. It'll keep him up all night.
He had clearly put thought into this because it's not like this happened one time. As he said at the beginning, it's like, oh, look, it's another clip from 2019. Yeah, where you were making that argument quite often.
Yeah, you were consistent about it. That's the problem. And you're still sitting here trying to explain it. Why don't you just be like, yeah, I was wrong. It's fucked up.
He throws the edgy in there because there are a lot of people who are defending him that way. The Tipster Keffels crowd are like, he was just being edgy. He still said it can be a good thing. Somebody give me the example. That's where you really set yourself up for failure, asshole, and you still haven't addressed it.
Shit hypotheticals and an extremely
I have the one instance of a positive result, but it would never happen in today's world.
Okay, I'm listening.
Do you become royalty?
Oh.
Do you become royalty? Because then it may be worth it.
In fairness, I don't know if you pay attention to the royals, but they're all pretty fucked up.
Well, the royals would be committing incest and pedophilia at the same time. But okay, I will name, you want an instance where it would have a positive result, technically a positive result. 1275 England. You find a time machine, Vaush, you can go back there and you can espouse these beliefs all you want. Go. Get your ass back to 1275, buddy.
Broad definition of can have good outcomes. Yeah, I've already addressed this debate, bro, brain poison before, so hopefully it's recognizable here, those tendencies.
Hang on. We got to go back.
Hypotheticals and an extremely, extremely broad definition of can have good outcomes. Yeah, I've already...
And then he switches the subject. You've given us your hypotheticals today of what you probably should have used back then. In your
Joseph was only 18, Ori. So that's a different thing. We give 4 years called Romeo and Juliet lost today.
Yeah.
In the year 30 BC, I will add 1 year for the Lord. Can we do that? Can we do that for Christ? Okay. All right, Ori. So it's okay. Joseph was not a pedophile. You can continue being a Christian. I don't want him to lose his faith over this.
Fair. He still doesn't give us whatever that hypothetical was. Have you noticed that?
No, because he hasn't thought that part. He can't think of that part. He's just like, yeah, I mean, it could be. It's possible, I guess, in a very improbable, but I guess possible in the smallest of denominators.
He gives us his thinking back then, except for that part.
He just, he can't come up with the situation where it is, and because there's not one.
And that's what he should say.
He's just like, I guess it's possible in a universe where anything is possible. This would be possible in some universe. Again, he's going to multiverse theory with the shit. That's his argument, multiverse theory.
It undermines his I was just being an edgy boy bullshit, because he can explain everything except for that part.
Yeah, you can't. You either were being an edgy boy or you're going to try to defend the shit, but you can't do both.
We addressed this debate, bro, brain poison before, so hopefully it's recognizable here, those tendencies, in the same way that it was with the child labor argument. I'm shooting myself in the foot in the exact same way with the same personality gun.
Then why do you keep talking? You consciously know you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Well, in fairness, right here, what he's trying to say is back then he kept making this bad argument to make himself look bad. And now he understands it makes him look bad, but he still believes in the argument.
Huh. Well, Then don't complain, buddy.
Yeah. You're just making this is why I said earlier, if he really believes this shit, then logically, from the horrible logic he was using, he was right. The problem is he was not right at all.
Vaush, I can think about a situation similar to what you're in right now, but the people don't act like you. For instance, if somebody is an advocate for not having transgender things happening in schools, they probably could be unpopular to some people, but they're going to hold on to that opinion because they believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
Either they're going to say, I believe in this, and I'm willing to be unpopular believing in this, or they're going to say, hey, lady boys, I was just being an edgy comedian. I'm sorry. You know, I didn't mean to offend anybody. I was just being edgy. But you can't say both.
No. All right.
The reason I hate this clip, myself
Because it makes you look like a pedo supporter?
in this clip, most of all, is because this argument I was having with chat wasn't even about child sexual abuse.
Yeah, we've made that point. It's kind of disturbing that that's where you went to when that's not the argument you were having.
Yeah, it was a little weird, a little bit weird. But had you just been like, yeah, child sexual abuse is fucked up and it should never happen, you know, we wouldn't be here.
Thank you,
right now,
Dangerous. Dangerous Spaces, thank you. I'm fairly new to being on the air every week with Matt. He does a show with Matt Christensen.
Oh, cool.
And I'm yet to accidentally advocate for pedos, you dumb fuck knuckle. Yeah. Most people don't accidentally advocate for pedophiles because we understand it's wrong.
Yeah, I know you're new to
It wasn't-
streaming, but I don't want you to be afraid of it. It's actually a lot easier to not defend pedophiles than it is to do so.
Yes.
I think you're going to be
Yes.
okay.
Relevant. It was completely irrelevant. The point that I was making.
That makes it worse, dipshit, that's where your brain went. And look, he's saying this is why he hates it. And his argument here is that I brought in bad optics. Yeah, that's all true. That's all true. You should hate it because you thought that way, dickhead. You should hate it because you think, or at least thought, if we're going to be, ignoring his folder, you thought that there could be a good outcome between adult and minors having sex. That's what you should hate, shithead.
I think he should just go away.
Hey, Vaush, are you one of those not getting help because we say pedos are bad? I'm asking for a friend.
You broke
It's
up.
just shocking.
You stopped. It was like blank and then help. Could you repeat that?
Oh, I asked if he's one of those people who's not getting help because we say pedos are bad.
Oh, yeah. Did you group up? Was that what happened? Do you have an online group you're part of, Vaush?
How did you get that art, sir?
Value nonsense. All I'm really doing is conveying an extremely intro to normative ethics understanding of consequentialism.
Using big words doesn't make you sound smarter, especially after we saw what you just did.
Vaush, have you ever had a big pair of titties in your face? Like a big old set of titties. Make you feel like a little baby sucking on them. Man, you ever had that happen to you? Yeah, because you have some weird sexual fetishes, and I'm wondering how many adult women you've been involved with.
I would bet this dude has adult-sized diapers somewhere for play.
I'm not doubting that at this point.
If you were an intro to normative ethics class, you'd probably get yelled at by the professor for attempting anything even like
big titties in your face, Vaush.
this
That's
argument.
what you need. I'll fix you.
Yeah, leaving that aside. And because it's completely irrelevant, I can't even explain my thought process very well.
You explained it in the clip. We all saw your thought process isn't the issue here when it comes to the bullshit philosophical debate. Your thought process is that you think it's okay sometimes to have sex with kids. Or sorry, not okay. It's wrong.
It can have positive results.
It can have positive results. That's the issue, shithead.
It just looks terrible, even though in the full clip, I'm explicitly stating that child-adult sexual relationships are categorically wrong. It's a completely...
Even the ones that have good outcomes. Because of the ones with bad outcomes.
Unforced error. I did this to myself. Also, with regards to can have good outcomes, this is like a fridge temp IQ element of arguing normative ethics. If you're willing to argue like a fucking idiot, as I clearly am, literally anything can have a good outcome in some specific scenario. Murder.
Jesus Christ. This is your multiverse here.
Mm-hmm. Multiverse theory. I don't know how else to put it. He believes in multiverse theory, and he thinks there's a universe somewhere where diddling can be okay.
Thank you, Keldrig. Do you guys hate the word normative as much as I do? Because the word pisses me off whenever it oozes out of one of these lefty jackasses' mouths. The way they use it, I mean, it depends on context, honestly.
I don't think that obvious evils need to be re-examined. I don't think we need to re-examine if pedophilia is evil. I think that the jury's in on that.
An innocent person. Well, what if someone put a gun to your head and said they'd murder 2 innocent people if you didn't murder 1? Now murdering them.
He's going to Sophie's Choice, for fuck's sake.
You don't murder the person. That's what happens. I won't be responsible for murdering an innocent person. So
yeah,
if you're going to kill 2 people, the blood is on your hands, motherfucker.
Thank you. In that regard, I understand the thinking, well, at least only one of them dies, but you're still the one that did it. And where you're not the one who gave you the choice of making 2. That is still all on them.
The blood will be on your hands, not mine. So,
Vaushi, in this scenario, because he raped 1 kid, he's not going to rape 2? He couldn't do 2 at the same time? Is that the argument you were going for? He's not making it any better.
No, he's not.
That person actually has a good outcome because with 2 possible paths, one of which 1 person dies, one of which 2 people die, you made the path where only 1 person dies. So you
wait. What if the second person was Hitler?
Right. You're still the one pulling that trigger. You're still the one killing somebody. That's on you at that point. You made that choice.
Like you said about pedophilia, how do I know killing that second person wasn't a positive result? Go ahead.
Basically save the life of a person. Woo, there you go. Nothing's inherently wrong, context.
You probably also caused some severe survivor's guilt and led that person to suicide. If we're being honest about it.
Yeah, I probably would feel some kind of way.
Context, the asteroid hitting the planet would be bad. Well, what if it prevents it from hitting a bigger planet with more people? Child, adult, sexual.
It's just funny you said that with your multiverse thing.
This motherfucker talking about meteors hitting planets and shit?
Yes.
Yo, man, look, when you have to go to analogies that are this far from the subject, it's starting to seem like you're just wrong.
I just want to repeat what I've said many, many times. Lefties suck at analogies. They really do.
Hey, man, some things are just bad. You don't need to re-examine it. Like, hey, Vaush, can I slowly strangle your mom to death in front of you? No? That's just bad, right? Maybe we should examine, the heteronormative influence of this and examine and re-examine if, choking innocent people to death is really an evil thing. Or maybe the jury is in on that type of shit and you shouldn't do that. How about that?
Ebony, thank you.
Maybe I just won't choke anyone and your mom will continue to be safe because I don't choke people.
Yeah, but if you don't choke her, maybe somebody will slowly cut her up and she'll die a more horrible death.
She could become Hitler.
She could. Ebony, thank you. Don't know if I should find it funny or sickening watching Vaush dig himself deeper into this hole. You should find this sickening because most of the people who are watching this video from his audience will be like, yes, that makes total sense.
Ebony, when I first got here, I was very upset, but I've been steady, just getting high for about an hour now. And I suggest you do the same thing. You'll feel it. The hate will flow through you and not get stuck to you. You know what I mean? You'll be all right.
And JB, thank you so much. He says, now imagine being in prison for weed with one of those degenerates, right? Yeah.
I got taken to jail for a traffic warrant one time with one of these degenerates.
Oh.
And the partition, they had a van they took us from the precinct to the county jail in, had a partition down the middle, like a big wall, this big steel wall. 5 of us, they lined up and we sat on a bench on one side. And they put a pedophile and a guy they were transferring to prison who was all tatted up, his face and everything, on the other side. And that dude got the shit kicked out of him from East County, and Texas counties are big, for about an hour. They opened up the back. They pulled us out one side. We all marched out. We were all shackled together. We're going to county jail. And then they opened the other side, and that ped falls out, screaming, "I need protective custody. I need protective custody. I need protective custody." The convict comes out right in front of the cops, points at him, and says, "Nobody gives this motherfucker food or water." And not one of us said a guy. I wasn't going to say, "Oh, fuck him, he's a pedophile."
Yep, there's a reason even murderers will be like, "Fuck that guy," because even the most degenerate murderer knows you don't fuck children.
You're like the dirtiest. You're not only an evil motherfucker, you're weak. You predatize on the weakest, most innocent members of society. Those guys in there, they may have been robbing people. They might have done some gangster shit. They didn't rape. Well, some of them did because they went to prison for raping kids, but the ones that were in there for murder didn't.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of those guys, they have kids.
Yep.
And they miss their kids. And they're scared about what their kids are going through on the outside, because on the inside, all they see is fucked up shit. And maybe they might think the world might be like that on the outside. The point is, Vaush, even the worst people we have think that you're an asshole right now.
Relations? Well, what if aliens threaten to blow up the whole planet?
Okay,
et cetera, et cetera.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
He went to aliens.
What the fuck? You pull this shit back right now, Vaush. Aliens, dude.
Aliens.
Yeah, I think it's okay that sometimes you can fuck kids because aliens. What the?
Oh,
well. Thank you, Dixie Rose, for that feminist $12. Oh, Tyra, did I mention yours was a feminist $12? I'm so sorry. Feminist 12 from Tyra earlier. Thank you. Dixie, thank you for that feminist 12. His analogies are getting wilder and wilder to try and get us to forget his initial premise. Yes, this is a distraction technique.
Aliens, man.
Fucking aliens. Yeah.
Etc. I know. It actually is that stupid. It wasn't even the point I was trying to make. It's just that, nothing is inherently wrong. It depends on the outcomes. Style of faux intellectualism was a pretty big feature of how I constructed arguments and made points back then.
It's still how you do it.
Back then, you just brought up aliens.
Yeah, he's literally doing it now.
And, here's it combining with that tendency to reach for the edgiest possible subjects and comparisons. And it really
understand that, Vaush. Have you seen my show? I get the edgy humor part.
Mm-hmm.
But if you asked me, okay, John McIntyre, the guy who voices Adonis Paul, do you really believe that it's okay to shoot a hooker in the face? I'd be like, no, you can't run around murdering people. No,
okay,
of course not.
Here's a running joke on this show is that I think it's horrible that we don't have no-tell motels anymore, because where are you supposed to murder a hooker?
Yeah, but you don't really believe in murdering hookers. It's just a joke.
It's a joke.
It's an unexpected ending. They didn't expect you to take that hard left, man.
Cerberus, thank you so much. Good morning, gents. Finally caught one live. I see we're watching this asshole. Speaking of Texas, I'm out near Rotan, I'm going with Texas right now. It'll be safe out there. You're in Texas, and I hear there's a lot of illegals down there.
See where he's at. He may not have too bad of a time with it.
Yeah, my governor and the government here in Michigan, they want people to start opening their homes for all of the illegals to help with the migrant crisis. How do you think taking care of these people and making life better for them is going to stop them from trying to come here?
Oh, that's a pretty quaint little town. I'm looking at your downtown right now. You're in a nice Central Texas town. Bet you got a good football team out there. Good for you.
It's Texas, of course they do.
Oh, it's central. It's North Central Texas. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah. They're playing football out there.
All right, back to douchey bag here.
Fucks me over. I know there are probably hundreds of examples of me doing this, but with murder or domestic abuse or any other just edgy topic dealing. Oh, you normies in my chat, you think that anything is inherently wrong? Well, let me.
I love the slow zoom to make sure you guys get this point. I mentioned earlier, Vaush, if you'd use different examples, people wouldn't be fucking with you about this. The problem is the example you used. That's where your brain went.
Yeah, let me try. And any other subject, Vaush, I don't think you would be okay with this. I think, if you beat your wife, it can have some positive results. She's quieter. You think I should beat my wife?
Construct a hypothetical for you that you won't be able to grapple with. You see, because I'm smart, I know that actually, what if this thing happened?
I really don't.
Good job,
blame
Dangerous
people for
Spaces. You and me on the same. You and I on the same wavelength. That happened
Less
earlier
me
too
for-
with somebody else.
We talked about this when we did this before too. It is easy to take people out of context when we say so many things. One of my more famous ones around here is "fuck baby Jesus." Context can be used against you. That is true. And when those of us see, who hear this, like, oh, that was taken out of context, we go look, like, oh, yeah, that was clearly taken out of context. You weren't taken out of context here.
That clip. It's just really bad. If nothing else, my hope, this is the goal that I'm trying to convey. Don't judge me for any kind of paraphilic interpolation of this. Judge me for being a fucking idiot. That's what I want you to do.
Yeah, because that makes it better for you. If he's just an idiot, then no big deal. The problem isn't that you're just an idiot, asshole. It's the idiocy you chose to embrace. Fuck, I hate these people.
There is no win
I'll
for
expand
you. There is no throne.
No.
I don't know any other way to put it, man. You're gonna die on this hill, Vaush. You're gonna die.
Judge my
on this hill.
He should too. This should not go away. But for the record, all of this stuff was said before this thing is found. And so many people, this is why I don't give Ethan Klein a pass on this. Ethan might be right on this, but he's hung out with this motherfucker for years now with all of this information out there.
Ethan's fucking ex-wife was on a Reddit thread talking about murdering JJ Stoner because he made fun of a midget. Okay, these people, they are not moral high ground people at all.
No.
They're the same dirty internet people as everybody else.
Until the porn folder comes out, let's see, he has on Tipster, he has on Keffels, he has on Vaush, and now he's like, these people are degenerates. You're right, but you were hanging out with them. You had no problem with what Vaush said before the porn folder came out.
Oh, and others. Now he, there's no denying it now. There's no ambiguity of what he meant now. Yeah, that's what the problem is with these people. Oh, this guy said there was positive aspects of fucking kids, and a couple of years later you found a porn folder full of CP. Oh, big surprise! Not
Shocking.
something everyone else here was waiting for.
Then for watching me, I shouldn't have gotten any viewers back then. I was so stupid. Yeah. Unfortunately for me,
Doesn't it bother you, Vaush, that you did get so many viewers? You said this stupid shit, and all of these people, by your own admission, 7 to 8% of your audience is probably pedophiles. He actually said that. I don't know if you caught that part.
No. I think you should make it clear to your audience that you believe they should go into a wood chipper so the pedophiles go away. You know what percentage of my audience is pedophiles? Probably 0 to 1%. I'm not going to say there's not maybe one out there I don't know about, but I've spent a significant amount of time keeping my opinion consistent on that. I would think a pedophile would find a different form of entertainment where I wasn't personally saying they should be killed.
They certainly won't find comfort here.
Yeah,
they do on your site. Over on, sorry, I'm talking to AP and Vaush. So I need to be clear when I say that they feel okay at your site. I'm talking to Vaush when I say that.
Oh yeah, VivaLosChaos.com will not be a comfortable place for peds. There's too many articles on James Robert Clark and shit.
Presence Online dates back way farther than the.
Okay, now it's probably gonna take me at least an hour to get through this, but we're not gonna watch the rest of this. We're gonna watch part of this before we jump back in time and then probably wrap up for the night. But he's going into his Discord stuff. And I just want to reiterate, because he's going to bring it up as though this is a decent defense. Yes, there are times people are taken out of context. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the stuff that he did in Discord, saying that it's wrong, suspect, disgusting is mild, and he doesn't address most of it. In fact, he clips parts of it out of context in his context video. This guy's a degenerate, and I do encourage you, if you want to know more about Vaush, go look into it before he was famous. Go look into that chick that he tried to gaslight into looking at his little dick.
What is with that, man? Like, is it just a generational thing? Like, I never thought, like, showing my dick to women randomly was going to yield positive results. Like,
no, this wasn't random.
You got arrested for that in my day if you just showed your dick to people.
This wasn't random. He starts talking sexually to this girl in DMs, and she tells him, I don't want to talk to you like that. And then he keeps pushing it and being like, no, you really want to look at my dick. And she finally has enough of it and comes public with it. And he's like, yeah, what I did was wrong, but fuck that bitch.
I just don't understand that whole way of being a person. Like, okay, I guess the best way to put it would be, I just have never had that Boogie Nights moment where some woman was just like, oh, I love looking at your junk. You know, I don't know. I never thought it would. Like, look at this. I knew you want to look at it. I'm like, no, you probably don't. You probably don't want to look at it.
Any man who understands,
I think penises are gross.
Yeah. Any man who understands women understand they're not like we are.
Yeah, they don't. They're not gonna get just looking at your dick. You know, looking at your naked body.
We are more sexual creatures than they are. We are more visual creatures than they are. So if a woman's like, you want to see my boobs? Most guys be like, yeah, go ahead. Let me see.
That'll work for me. Yeah. My brain's wired that way. I'm a hunter.
Well, baby, you want to see my boobs? I do. Good morning. That's mean. You're going to ask me if I want to see your boobs and then not show them?
You shouldn't have said anything because the rest of us just assumed you silently got boobs and we were just going to let you enjoy it.
I think it's funnier, though, that I don't get to see them now after she offered.
Well, you're married. That's how it works.
That's just mean.
Hey, don't buy her a ring if you want to have sex with her.
Creation of my channel, which means people interested in finding examples of me saying stupid shit have a pretty wide range of material to choose from.
Hey, Vaush. I'm not going to say I've never said anything stupid online, but I can actually defend everything I've ever said. This nonsense. Hey, you can go find things that I said. I can still defend what I said. I can at least tell you why I said it at the time.
I can't, but I can admit that I was wrong about the shit that I can't.
Yeah, but that's what I mean by, I can explain it at the time. Like he tried to do just a moment ago.
My most notorious fuck up would be getting shit hammered, wasted, and shit talking somebody that was a friend of mine. And to this day, I'll tell you that was wrong. Other people's behavior and stuff like that has nothing to do with my behavior. What I did was wrong. How hard was that, Vaush? How hard was that, Vaush?
Well, and again, see, you have at least an excuse there, like you got drunk and did it. What he's talking about here is like, we'll have to look at what he says. But real quick, Ministry of Ron, thank you so very much. Vaush assumes if he can stretch hard enough and make someone look like a hypocrite, his own moral choices are cleared. If someone preaches against murder and then kills, they are a hypocrite, but it doesn't make murder okay. True.
Also, it's important to mention that the only example I have to go back like 8 years to get because I am an almost perfect, flawless person, Vaush.
Well, I try to think about what I say.
That's where you fuck up.
Yeah.
You should be like Vaush here. Just don't think. Just say dumb shit. It's just the dumbest shit you can. He got away with it for what, 6 years?
Yeah.
We're done.
Before I had a channel or was even known as Vaush, I was a frequent and notorious shit poster in the community of a streamer called Destiny. I know. That's why I am the way I am.
This is not helping you.
I had been in his community for a long time, really long, and I really enjoyed the edgy, irreverent debate lord culture of his Discord server. So let's look at some of the stupid, edgy, irreverent shit I said 6 years ago.
Uh-oh. Am I back?
Yeah, you're here.
Okay. Because my internet has issues at times, and there was just a hiccup there.
That people have since screenshotted out of context in the pursuit of calling me a pedophile. So this is a perfect example of context being maliciously stripped from a screenshot in order to make me look bad, even though I'm right and it's not even controversial. You know,
I'm actually I'm already armed to fuck you up on this argument. So go on. I see what you're saying up there. I know what your argument's going to be. Go on.
All right. So what he says, for those who are just listening along, he typed in Dinsley, whatever. I seem to have provoked a defensive reaction in you. Some deleted poster posted a picture of a bear.
That would be a pedo bear. He's calling him a pedo.
And he comes back and says, there's a difference between exploring child sexuality and sexualizing children.
Uncontroversially right, I hope. The conversation was about media and LGBT representation. Here's the gist of it. So coming of age stories are really common. You know, like a young person, they go on an adventure.
Yeah, I debated Destiny on the Kumite. Well, I didn't really debate Destiny on the Kumite back in the day. I just yelled at him that he was a pedophile until he left.
They meet people they like. Maybe they fall in love. They slay a dragon. Whatever. Really, really, really common type of story. One of the main types of stories, even. And one of the biggest culture war talking points back in 2017, and I guess still now today, is that kind of story is weird and pedophilic. And
before he goes on, I just want to remind you what he said. There's a difference between exploring child sexuality and sexualizing children.
Well, there is if you're a child psychologist. Vaush, what is your degree in? If it's not child psychology and you have no context to have an academic reason to study such a thing, you're probably just a fucking pervert.
Well, the problem is him using sexuality and sexualizing, because we got to get to his example to see.
I guess the modern term would be groomery. I don't know. If the protagonist isn't straight, right? So their argument was, you know, you can have a story where a young man goes on a journey and falls in love with a girl and everything's fine. But if a young man goes on a journey and falls in love with a guy, then it's weird and it's gross and it's different. And that's sexualizing them.
It was called Brokeback Mountain, and it made about $700 million in the theater. That's literally what you just described. Go fuck yourself.
Okay, what he's talking about, and let's let him finish, and we'll come back.
Because young people can be straight, but they can't be gay. You know, because that's weird. That means they've been abused or whatever. That's the argument that I was pressing against.
Wait for
you know, and hopefully everyone watching understands it's a ridiculous and homophobic and irrational argument.
But statistically not wrong either.
But that's what I was pushing.
True.
Back against. You know, the exploring sexuality there in that context means it being incorporated as a plot element, like in every story, right? The Last Airbender, Aang likes Katara. Spoilers. That's sexuality. That's heterosexuality, I believe, is the term for it. You know, in Teen Titans, Robin, like Starfire, not Raven, right? Starfire.
Vaush. The word you're looking for is romance.
Thank you, dude. I could hug you so many times when we talk. Yes.
Well, normally I wouldn't like that, but you get one if we ever meet. You get one hug.
We are not actually talking about child sexuality here. Remember, he didn't say a child's sexuality or their sexual preference is what he's trying to change this into.
Yeah, it's when you're about, you get crushes when you're a kid on other kids and stuff like that. Yeah, that's normal. That's explored in media. You know, crushes, girlfriends, first kiss, stuff like that. You're talking when you throw the term around child sexuality, it's you're putting me under the impression that your interests are different.
We've seen the problem that comes in with this argument. It's not just that they'll have a Robin who suddenly likes, I don't know, Batman, whatever. It's not that the character's gay. It's that they turn it into sexuality. They turn it into porn. It can't just be that, oh, he likes a boy. It's, oh, look, this is from genderqueer. Literally the boy sucking the other boy off.
Yeah, they make the argument. I've actually heard the argument from the community that because it's LGBT literature, it inherently has to have sexuality involved because that's what they are. That's the difference between them and us. And I'm like, no, that's not true. I can show you a million examples of literature books where straight people we're not giving graphic instructions about how to have sex. Like,
Right.
What do you, we have health class where in an academic sense, we discuss human reproduction and how to avoid that happening too early because that'll ruin your life or getting a disease, stuff like that. But no, we don't have step-by-step instructions on fellatio, masturbation, and all that. Like, no.
Ministry of Wrong Think, thank you so much. Vaush's defense, aliens and airbender. Yes.
You know what really makes me mad? Monkey, you know what the real tragedy of it all is? You know what really the injustice here is? Did anyone give you an instruction manual on going down on a woman?
Nope.
Don't you think we could have used one?
Could have. I did go read as much as I could. But it's very hard to find anything.
Yeah. I feel like we're being discriminated against. All y'all are doing is getting books about how to do things to guys. That's simple.
Yeah, we didn't have graphic novels explaining how to do it. No.
Now you see, Vaush, that's how you tell a joke. You see, nobody really thinks I'm advocating for people to start writing cunnilingus books for kids. You get it? It's a joke.
But
See how it works, Vaush?
The disingenuous way he frames this argument. Look, you're still going to have people, if you had just their two gay characters and they clearly like each other, that are going to be like, oh, yes, you're just pushing gay agenda stuff. But that's not what we're talking about, for fuck's sake. And for him to be like, sexualizing a child and child sexuality are different. Not in the context we're talking about here.
If you're reading a book about two, like, somebody with their first girlfriend, I don't know, like a Judy Blume book where Peter Hatcher had his first girlfriend and they kiss. That's not exploring child sexuality. I don't know how to put it. That's just a book about growing up.
It's a coming of age story.
Yeah, it's not explicit. It's not meant to get you off. That's the difference.
It's not Lawn Boy where they describe a grown man having sex with a child and don't in any way say that it's wrong.
Like, okay, I'm trying to think of American. I pulled American Pie because it's minors, but we should probably go younger than that for Vaush to be relevant. But I'm trying to think of The Goonies. The Goonies.
I was just going there.
There you go. Well, we were born around the same time.
Yeah. When that kiss happened, nobody would say Goonies is a sexualized movie for kids.
Yeah. A kiss happened. But you know what, Vouch? It was people around the same age. Which is why it's completely out of context for your adults and children thing.
You know what we didn't see? We didn't see her blow him.
Yeah.
All right.
Like normal, uncontroversial, homophobes will say like, oh, well, actually it's bad if it's, if young people can be gay, even though everyone knows they can be. Like, it's just... I have a feeling the person.
No, it's not bad if they're gay. It's bad if they're indoctrinated into a lifestyle. It's not bad if they just are like, we all knew one kid in our school who was skipping rope when the rest of us were playing football and they grew up to be gay. That happens in just nature. I mean, it's just a thing with, there's just that deformity happens. Okay. But the numbers.
Trouble calling it a deformity. How dare you?
It is. It's a mutation. I don't know what to tell you. It's not a normal.
It's an abnormality.
Function. Yeah, it's an abnormality. I'm not saying you should have bricks thrown at your fucking head like Vaush would say, but it's not, what a normal, healthy human would do.
Oh, here's one of those times I have to do it. I have nothing against gay people where I have to say something. I'm nothing against gay people. It's the advocates that really piss me off because they're the ones who push this shit.
You know who really is the worst? Not the LGBT whatever community. White women who consider themselves their allies.
Dude, is Pat in chat? What do we think of white women around here?
Yeah, find me a black man. Find me an angry black man and a white woman put in jail for some shit he didn't do.
White women are a problem in society.
To like use it against me, wouldn't even disagree with the argument I'm making because a lot of these like really bad faith clip jobs come from people who are ostensibly left leaning, which makes me wonder like if they don't understand.
Even lefties are looking at the shit you're saying and calling you a pedo. That
Are you
doesn't.
trying to say that pedophilia is a problem for liberals, Vaush?
He at one point, I don't know if he does it in this video, but at other points he's been like in his previous video when this first blows up, he's like, you guys talking about Ethan Klein and them, like, you guys are basically attacking me with the same stuff that the Nazis do.
I wish they would.
Like,
flamethrowers and tanks, and maybe they'd reconstruct a happy shower for you or something. I don't know. But yeah, I really wish that was true.
Doesn't that tell you something, Vaush? When the people you call Nazis and your audience call Nazis, your audience is agreeing with them? Doesn't that tell you something?
I have Jewish friends who would be willing to bring back the Nazis if they would just get you first.
Right?
And they're doing the same thing that like the conservatives they would otherwise disagree with would do. I don't know. It's really, really, really frustrating.
Hey, Vaush, you know what you could have done to help yourself there? You could have shown the rest of the context of that.
You know, Vaush, what you should have said was nothing, but instead.
He's using clips that people have taken. So in fairness, at least in this part, I don't know if there's more to that to be found. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that you've deleted so much shit over the years because of the horrible things you say. So you can't give the proper context because it's all gone.
Nobody disagrees with me on the argument that I'm making here. I hope if I had only known then what my future would hold, then maybe I would have optically workshopped it a little more.
Okay. Optically workshopped it.
Okay, so this one actually is bad, and I've apologized for it a few times.
All right, I'm going to read it. Jen Joy Waffles says, Vaush, I fucked an adult as a minor, and Vaush says, Jen Joy Waffles, unironically hot.
I'm not gonna lie. I also fucked an adult as a minor. I mean, I'm 16, but it happened.
I was 15. She was 19.
Yeah, she was like 23.
That makes her the issue, though, not us.
Hey, man, I'm gonna say that should never happen. But I was not traumatized by that waitress that I was working with at that diner that night. And I'm just saying, me personally, I'm glad that I was able to live through that trauma and not be scarred by it. Yeah.
When I was 15, I thought it was the coolest shit ever.
Yes, I did too.
As an adult, if that had been my son and I found out about it, we'd have a big issue.
Yeah, but the spread was at worst between the two. Like, I had the worst spread between the two of us, and still was only 6 years. And I probably, no, I take it back. I was probably 17, and she was 20. She was just old enough to, like, maybe a year older to drink, but she was British, and she was working at this. She bought alcohol, you know.
We do have an issue in society where we look at it when it's a boy and be like, I mean, it's kind of cool, ain't it?
But it wasn't my teacher. It wasn't somebody in like power over me. Okay. It was just another fucking person working at a diner. You know, it wasn't. It's just saying.
The girl is still one I question. And looking back, the girl I lost my virginity to clearly had some mental issues, dude. I have an issue with women who can be turned on by a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old. You're a grown-ass woman. That shouldn't.
Well, I had a car. I was already graduated at 17, dude. I was working a full-time job.
You're 17. I mean, you're 17, almost an adult. I was 15.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And granted, she's only 19, but you're 19. Why are you even hanging out with a 15-year-old? We didn't work together. We had mutual friends. So again, I understand it especially as a man, the sense that, I mean, if I was him, I think that was cool. But as a father, and especially if you look at things like the Mary Kay Letourneau thing, where this 13-year-old boy becomes a father, can you imagine that being your son?
No. I'd be very upset.
Exactly. But you know, Vaush talking about things taking out of context. This picture here.
Now wait. Did my son come home when he was 17 after working a full-time job, he's already graduated from high school and taking college classes half the day and be like, I just nailed a 22-year-old. I don't know. I might not be that mad in that situation.
That still falls within the Romeo and Juliet.
Might still be like, no, it's a year out. It's a year out of it.
It depends on where.
Hey, you know what? We made the Christ loophole earlier, so I'm going to let it happen.
True. We talked about a state the other day because of some guy I forget, but theirs is a 3-year difference.
It should be 4 years because high school is 4 years. I don't want, and it's not because I think seniors going out with freshmen is healthy. I just don't think you should go to prison.
See, there's a caveat there. If they went to high school together or something, cool. If he's, just moved into the neighborhood and he's 22 and he starts.
Oh, fuck that. No. That's different. I'm talking about a senior taking a freshman to prom because that senior is a fucking loser. I don't think that he should go to prison. I think that's why that 4-year Romeo and Juliet rule exists. And there's probably some wisdom to that.
And that's why there should
that's
be.
About it.
There should be issues in the law where we're like, okay, we can't have it just this solid line. There's got to be like, okay, you're 16, he's 17. In some states, that does become illegal at that point because not all states have Romeo and Juliet laws. That kid should not go to prison for that.
Yeah, anyway. That's my thing. I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm not even saying it's really a good idea or very moral. If it was my daughter dating a senior, I would put an end to it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that guy should spend 10 years in prison and never even have a shot at life because he asked a girl from his school on a date or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
but what I was pointing out about this particular thing, this clip that he's showing here, this screenshot, he's clipped it. Because the full screenshot has him asking people if they were abused as a child. Asking them, how many of you had sex with an adult? And this girl comes back and says it. And he's like, that's hot. Even within the context we were just talking about, with boys and girls being different and society kind of writing it off for.
Oh, yeah, especially 1998, dude. I mean, we're talking about 98, not 2024. Like, there was a difference in.
Female.
Yeah. I mean, it was looked at differently. I'm not saying it was okay. I'm saying that society viewed it differently. That we still said nice when that kind of shit happened when it was a boy.
The South Park thing, nice.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever said that when it's an underage girl, except Vaush.
Because Vaush is, he's picturing it.
But again, he cuts out the part where he specifically asked, hey guys, any of y'all been touched?
Of course he did.
And this was in relation to some story that was posted there about a child being touched.
Times. Basically, here I'm doing that thing that guys do where, a hot female teacher will be arrested for raping a student.
You're talking to a girl, man. If this was a guy, at least I would get your argument here, but you're not. You're talking. The name is Jen.
Yeah.
And the guys in the Facebook comment section will be like, where was she when I was that age? Could have used me some of that. And basically, like, the thing they do where they downplay and trivialize the sexual abuses of the teacher because they personally think it would have been cool if they could have slept with their hot teachers back when they were 14. And
understand, especially at the time, it's why I hate the word unironically. These people use the word unironically to mean truthfully. It's literally what they mean. When they say unironically, they're just meaning sincerely.
Yeah, it was sincerely.
Yeah, when I was 14, I also wanted to fuck my hot teachers, obviously. But 14-year-olds are idiots. Their interests, desires, and preferences shouldn't really be accounted as a solid moral argument.
No, that's why we put the onus on adults, not the children.
Yep. Thank you. That's exactly where I was about to go with it. Like, yeah, we weren't saying that the children, the victims, were the ones that were bad, you asshole.
But that's where they go, man. Because they got to look. I'm not saying the kid. Nobody's saying the kid is the problem here, you asshole.
To anything. So this screenshot isn't really missing any context.
You literally cut the top of it off, asshole. It's missing quite a bit of context.
It's actually missing a lot of context, Vaush.
It actually is shitty, but I've seen
not to his audience who have never seen it. or anybody who's never seen that, go watch Willie Mack's video, guys. I know Willie Mack's video that came out the other day has that screenshot in it.
Come around on this, and I've recognized how bad it is to downplay or idealize that kind of thing. So, I've been consistent about that for years now on my channel. Not much else I can do.
I guess. Hey, look, guys, I only said it was hot the one time.
You said it was hot until you got in trouble for it. Okay,
exactly.
I get it, man.
You brought up Jimmy Carr earlier. I've never heard anybody call Jimmy Carr a pedophile, even though there's one show where he opens up with 3 pedophile jokes. And the difference is that everybody knew he was joking. And he hasn't had to apologize to it, except for to people who get offended at everything Jimmy Carr says, because Jimmy Carr is purposefully antagonistic to those.
His whole style is, I'm going to take you down this one road, and then I'm going to turn super dark without warning.
Yep.
So it's there's a context for him to say those sort of things, and you're at a comedy show, so there's also that that you probably shouldn't take anything being said too seriously. That's the nature of comedy.
He's trying to play this off like he was just some, hey, I was an edgy boy back in the day. Again, all of it taken together. All of it taken together is the issue. And especially with the latest addition to you actually having this shit on your computer.
You're a folder of CP kind of changes everything.
All right, next one. All right, so this one looks bad. I think this is probably like one of the other things that gets used against me the most often.
All right, let me read it. This is Vaush, not me. So when you clip this out of context, please keep that part in. The way I see it, the age of consent exists out of respect for the numerous power imbalances older people have over younger people. As those imbalances, or at least some of them, are redressed through the advent of socialism, the age of consent should therefore be lowered. Basically, communism means you can bang kids.
Yeah, Vaush, it actually, the age of consent exists not only for that reason, but because children are dumb. I don't think did you know that, Vaush, that a lot of times children will make bad decisions, mistakes, and we'd like for them to be able to live normal, healthy lives and not end up pregnant at 13 and shit.
Their brains aren't developed. They don't have life experience. It's not just that there's a power imbalance, you fucking shitbag.
It's a lack of wisdom, experience, and knowledge.
But anyway,
the same reason we don't let them drive cars, we don't let them fly into space, we don't let them purchase cigarettes and alcohol.
Let's see what he says now, because that's what he said then.
It is mostly just stupid in the same way that
it's not mostly just stupid. It's entirely stupid. You still haven't gotten better at communicating, sir. It's entirely stupid. That's all you have to say. It's really dumb. And see, this is why I say he can't just fall back on the edgy boy thing, because he is trying to explain it. He's not just explaining, hey, I was being edgy. He actually tries to give a justification that he still holds.
The previous, like, terminally online debate-brained tendencies we've seen have been stupid. My argument was that under socialism, an economic system that I don't believe exists or has ever existed,
of course you don't.
You could defensibly adopt an.
This is still happening? The real communism has never been tried argument is still fucking happening?
And he pulled that up to defend his idea that communism should lower the age of consent. Yes, he really did that.
Okay, I'm kind of proud. You know what? I'm impressed. I'm not proud was the wrong word. I'm just impressed at this point. Go on.
Age of consent set to the same level as it is currently set to in England or France. Another pointless intellectual exercise conducted, I assume, because I and a lot of other people in the Discord server believed arguing controversial topics through inane hypotheticals made us cool and smart.
That's not a hypothetical.
What do you mean that's what we thought? You've been doing that this whole fucking time. You just brought up aliens, dude.
It's not even a hypothetical. It's an argument. Those are two different things. You can use a hypothetical in an argument, but he's making an argument there. He's not saying hypothetically if this happened. He's saying if it happens, this should happen.
He's using real world examples. This is not hypothetical.
Fuck, I hate people who misuse words. And for the record, I misuse words from time to time, but people who just don't understand what the word really means.
This kind of shit is why I have a requirement that people see the movie Gaslight before using the word gaslighting.
Gaslight has become one of those words that I hate seeing online because half the people that use it don't even use it the wrong way that most people use it the wrong way.
Yeah, there are 3 degrees of separation from even an acceptable level of wrong.
It's like the word cuck, man. Do you realize how they've just destroyed the word cuck?
Yes, now cuck just means you're kind of being a weak little bitch. Like, that's not what it was for.
Wow, good thing that didn't carry forward into my streaming career.
He's smiling at that idea. God, you're an idiot.
I think my logic was, no, I know what my logic was. It was that the idea that economic disparities are a primary element of the power imbalance between adults and minors.
What?
His thinking was that the reason you shouldn't fuck kids is because you have more money than them.
You should be able to buy your way out of the age of consent laws, like getting drafted into the Civil War.
Did he just accidentally make an argument for child prostitution?
Yeah, I think he did. If you have enough money, you should be able to fuck kids. Is that what you're saying, Vaush?
If you give some of it to them.
Yeah, if you pay the kid, then it's okay.
Yeah.
That removes the financial
imbalance. Yeah.
Yeah. God.
And that removing that imbalance through total economic equality would rectify a part of the power imbalance.
Vaush, I want you to know I'm oiling a sword right now while you're saying this shit, dude. Just so you know the difference between like what men do with their time late at night and, just taking our weapons apart, oiling them, just shit like that. And you here talking about how it's okay to fuck kids. I just want you to know I'm oiling a sword. Like that's... You are such an asshole, dude. Like, I don't know what. It's late and I'm high and I'm having to just concentrate on other things, dude.
The funny part is you're high and make more sense than he does.
Well, I've got more than 2 neurons firing, so
this is him after he's had almost a week to think about it.
This is the best he's got.
What is it? This blew up on the 13th, so it's been over a week. And well, he did release it 2 days ago. So like 5 days he's had time to think about this.
It's Google Pay Day.
Is it?
Yeah, man. We got our Google checks today, like 1.
Yeah, mine is between the 20th and the 25th. It depends. I don't know why it changes.
It's the 21st, and if the 21st falls on a weekend, which for some reason it seems to do a lot, then you get it on Monday. So it's like 2 days later. It's always the 21st. That's technically what it is.
I know some people who get them on like the 13th and not through an MCN.
Huh.
Typically they're overseas though, so maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that. Most people I talk to are real happy about the 21st.
It's a stupid argument. I definitely don't agree with it anymore. I probably didn't agree with it like very shortly after I made it because I was arguing about it. It's pretty easy to poke holes in that one, I gotta say. Economic disparities are present in couples of literally every age, right?
All you got to say is I was wrong. There you go.
It's okay, Vaush. You were wrong, buddy.
Power imbalance between adults and minors is more developmental and social. So the argument was stupid and meaningless, yes, but you have to understand that to the mind of the terminally on bro, the hotter and less necessary the take, the cooler you are for making it.
But that wasn't even one of your edgy takes. You're making an actual argument.
Why can't you just say we were just talking shit, man? It was like 6 years ago. We all thought we were smarter than we were. We were just talking shit. But yeah, that and this guy has borderline personality disorder. That's part of it. I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't diagnose you, Vouch, but you have some well-known symptoms like you can't be wrong. You just can't. You've got to sit. You will explain this shit for an hour and make yourself look like an asshole before you'll just go, I was wrong, man.
He had to explain it away first, and that's fucking retarded. And the interesting part there is he's trying once again to be like, this was 6 years ago. You have to understand the context of the times. You were an adult. And it's not like you were 18. He was in his mid-20s already at this point.
Yeah, man. Me and Monkey were talking about the 90s when we were talking about like these older women and shit.
Yeah.
You're talking. I already had a YouTube channel in the time frame you're talking about.
By the time I was your age, I already knew that the power imbalance between a child and an adult was not just money, and that it was not just money keeping it from being wrong to bang a child, you fucking reject.
By the time I was your age, Vaush, I was raising a child and protecting her from people like you.
By the time I was his age when he said that, I already had 3 kids.
Yeah, and I never would have bought women's frames.
I also wouldn't be trying to. I wouldn't have a man bun, which he had at the time too.
Oh yeah, and the black and white one. Yeah.
Great stuff. You know, I've done myself nothing but good service in the pursuit of all.
He keeps doing that. Well, I have done myself. It's who you are. He's making it sound like there's some external force that made him be a douchebag. Like it wasn't me. In an alternate universe, there was a mind control device.
It's multiverse. I'm telling you, he's really leaning into multiverse theory to get through this.
It's who you are.
These excellent arguments that needed to be had. I think that's it for the Discord screenshots that I can meaningfully add context to. You know, like ones that I think are substantive enough to warrant any kind of explanation. The others are fake, like just like faked, like photoshopped or whatever, or so insubstantial that addressing them feels pointless. Yeah, you know,
like cutting out the clip from earlier to give the full context of what you said.
I want to give you an example of what that so often looks like, though. So here's,
we're done with this part of it. I want to watch this other portion of the clip. This is the stuff we skipped. This is immediately following everything we just watched. Or sorry, immediately preceding what we just watched. This is him addressing one of the other clips, guys.
Next clip. We've all jerked it to Lolly at some point or another.
No.
At some point.
No, we haven't. I have never once, unironically, and I mean that to mean genuine, literally never done that to images, whether drawn or real, of underage people.
In our lives, been going fucking crazy on some hentai site, and we've been fucking stroking as hard and fast.
The behavior you're talking about is not normal.
And then after we nut, we go back, look over our history chat, and we go like, oh, geez. Oh, boy. Some of these girls looked pretty young.
Yeah, this one definitely.
No, I don't. I've never done that.
Does he play the rest of the clip? Hang on, I want to get the rest of the clip here.
Really sounds rougher than the last 2 clips, but it's it's a bit, it's a joke, a bad joke. I can explain it. I don't think that'll make it any funnier. The intended comedy element of an indiscriminate whirlwind masturbator being used to draw attention to a problem, that problem being the ubiquity of lolicon in hentai sites.
Okay, yeah, he doesn't play the rest of the clip. What he says immediately after that, after he goes, we've been furiously masturbating, then we look back. One, who the fuck goes back and looks at your porn after you've jerked it?
Yeah, shouldn't you be done?
Who goes back and then and is like, I wonder if they were of age of consent. That's weird alone, dude. But what he says right after that is, I don't give a fuck. He screams that into his microphone. He says, we've all done it. Oh my God. Oh geez. And then he yells it, I don't give a fuck. Now, when you take that in context with him having his folder, we didn't get to the part that that really ties in with this. It's where he's discussing the porn folder. And he's like, look, man, I accidentally found out it was Lolly. And of course I deleted it then. Of course.
Vaush, my problem with what you just said is you used the first person. I understand a joke. I understand a self-deprecating joke. I've told a similar joke. I'll tell it to you now. I say it to the audience. You motherfuckers come in here and start talking and start yelling degenerate, what you're seeing on the screen. And then all of you motherfuckers go type the weirdest shit into Pornhub.
Yes.
But that's how you tell a joke. You were making an argument.
Yeah. And he finishes the argument by saying he doesn't give a fuck about that. Now, fast forward to where he accidentally was looking at lolly porn.
But he keeps like singling out child shit and lolly.
But he says in there, we see it and we get, oh God, oh no. And he follows it up with the I don't give a fuck. So what makes it different when it's actually, it's literally him getting caught with this shit. And suddenly he does give a fuck. See what I'm saying? He's literally like, I don't give a shit. And
I don't give a shit until somebody
catches
me
me.
to task. Yeah.
Yeah. He's literally, he's not making a joke there. Like, you'll see weirdos do this from time to time. Like, everybody does that. And everybody's like, no, we don't.
No.
Because most people just think they're normal. Like, take the foods you eat. The foods you grew up eating, unless you really put a lot of thought into it or grew up in a diverse area, chances are all of your friends were eating the same thing. So you just assume that's what everybody eats. And then you find out there's people in the world who've never tasted a potato. And you're like, oh, so everybody isn't that way. In this case, what he's talking about, though, is jerking off to child porn. Let me just be clear here. I don't want there to be any ambiguity about what I'm saying. If what you're jerking off to can even be mistaken as a child, you're a fucking degenerate.
Look
You're
for
a
tattoos.
pedophile.
I
You're just
understand. I understand it's Pornhub you're on, Vaush, and sometimes these, there are some petite built women and other built women, but there are some clues. There are some clues that can ease your conscience, like a full sleeve tattoo.
Yeah.
It's like a professionally done tattoo, and you're like, okay, well, this bitch is great. She's really body modification, stuff like that. Now, hey, I have the Adonis ball dancers, and so every once in a while there'll be like one on the more petite side, but tattoos and body modification that can clear your conscience, my friend.
To me,
Or if it really bothers you, just don't. How
excuse
about
me.
you just don't? You just get into big titty, fat old women, man. I think that's what you need to do. Well, I have the jacket back system to remove degeneracy, and I would like to forward my hypothesis to you, Vaush, because you need help. Right now, you're into little kids and shit, okay? What we're going to start you on is for 1 week, I want you to go into nothing but lesbian college co-eds, okay? We'll get you some petite lesbian college co-eds. They are legal, but we'll start you with Asian, right? Like, 90-pound Chinese, like 22-year-old Chinese girls. I'm going to work you up from there to like regular porn stars and then into MILFs. And by summertime, I will have you exclusively turned on to old ladies and the children will be safe. Finally, the jacket back method to degeneracy removal is sound. And I want you to take part in it.
I say we just lock him in a building forever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. If you don't want to help me get my business off the ground, we'll just, lock him in.
No, he can still, do the course, but he's got to do it from inside a cinder block building.
How about we just kick his ass and take his money and then leave him in the building?
I mean, I'm open to suggestions.
There. Now we're both happy. All right, Vaush, that's the plan.
Here's the thing. I tend to like older women. I always have. I see beautiful young women, but there comes a line where it's like, that looks like a child. And even if they're a grown adult, if they look like a child, I can't be turned on by them.
The minimum age of this is okay does go up as you get older.
Yeah. If you're 20 and you
especially if you're a father to a girl, that will fuck things up for you.
It really will. Yeah. My world changed when my daughter was born.
Mm-hmm. That's when you realize, and I'm going to say this, but it's going to kind of sound fucked up, but don't take it the wrong way. Every whore was once an adorable, innocent little girl.
Yeah.
That's when you realize that. Like they were all cute like this? What have I been doing? Like I gotta show these bitches a little more respect now. What the fuck? They all used to play with Barbies and be sweet and all, then they turned into that.
You will never catch me accidentally looking at porn of a child, because I wouldn't look at porn where I thought, wow, that looks like a child.
I wouldn't be in a place where there would be child porn.
And for the record, we've all been furiously beating one. I don't jerk off to drawings, Vaush. I'm not saying nobody does, but that's not for me.
I'd like to openly state that if you jerk off to drawings, you have a problem. I don't know even if it's drawings of like grown women, like you have a little bit of a problem. That's kind of weird.
How are you so horny that you have to come back later to go, oh, that looks like a child? You know
Like,
what I mean? Yeah. Look, we all know when a man gets an erection, less blood in his head.
I
tend to be
think I know what
stupider.
he's trying to say is that, like, if you're jerking off, or I'm going to use different language. If you're doing a thing and then right afterwards you suddenly are not interested and you're looking at the screen and you're like, why did I even turn this on? Why am I even watching lesbians do this? But you kept bringing up children, and I hate you for it.
That's the part that he keeps glossing over, and we're gonna get this douchebag off my screen. That's the part he keeps glossing over, is that he's the one that kept going to children. Him, nobody else. Nobody made him do that. Nobody made his argument about kids except him. Nobody downloaded porn of kids but him.
Who was talking about that before he walked in the room?
This was his argument. And his newest thing, I don't know if you've seen it, his excuse for why he had that lolly is he didn't realize it was lolly, but he later found out that the guy who draws it is a lolly artist. Where'd you find that, Vaush?
How do you end up with a folder full of that without looking for it? Did somebody just send you a bunch of art? Well, you downloaded it and what?
Tipster has the greatest video on this because he's gotten in so much bullshit for defending Vaush on this. The other day on stream, he made a point of throwing away all his I always have trouble saying this.
Manga and anime. I saw that video.
His anime, and being like, I can't watch Dragon Ball
Final
Z
Fantasy
anymore.
games, yeah.
It might have had some stuff in there and I just didn't notice it. I've seen Dragon Ball Z. My sons used to watch it. I never once watched it and went, wow, this could be kiddie porn.
Well, not in Dragon Ball Z. If you want to get super duper technical, I mean, super fucking technical, both Goku and Master Roshi kind of molested on Bulma back in Dragon Ball, the original series, and I don't think she was quite 18 yet, to be honest. Just saying, there is something to what Tipster was saying about Dragon Ball, but it's
no. I'm not going to give you that
Japan,
point.
motherfucker. I don't know what to tell you.
There's some of that stuff that is clearly adults going after children.
But Goku didn't know what a girl was because he was so stupid as a kid. He was just like, "There's no balls. What the fuck's going on here?"
You could even make the argument, especially early on, that Goku is a child.
He was like 6 at the time. He didn't know. He thought that her not having the features of a man meant she had a lap pillow like his grandfather, and he was supposed to lay on her lap. And then he realized girls are different. He thought
even as they get older, if they're suspect, it's like I get you.
The joke was not, hey, let's get off on this. It was, hey, look how dumb Goku is because he was raised in the woods.
Exactly. And Tipster throwing away all of his stuff. Like, okay, for argument's sake, let's say you're not just being a performative douchebag right now. If you considered that at all, why would you have it?
Tipster, no one's saying that you can't watch Ranma 1/2. I know Mexicans love Ranma 1/2. No one's saying you can't watch Ranma 1/2. I'm saying you shouldn't jerk off to it. Okay, it's like okay. Look, Ranma. Ranma was around when I was 14. All right, I have a special place in my heart for it. But let's be honest, Tipster. Chinese women aren't built like shampoo. They're usually like 90 pounds.
Yeah,
shampoo is built like a 28-year-old giant busty model. All right, like that's just. Why don't you just ease up? How about you just don't jerk off to it? Don't sexualize it. If the joke is that Ranma turns into his girl and a titty pops out, just roll past it in the show and move on. Don't dwell.
And can we also talk about the fact that we're discussing the one picture that comes up the most, and the only one that he will admit was Lolly before he found out the other artist draws Lolly. Seriously, how'd you get this stuff, man? Was two grown women having sex with a young boy.
Yeah, that's a little over the top. That's not comedic inferred uncomfortable situations. That's adults on a fucking child.
The child's dick was out. Can you show me in Dragon Ball Z where that happened?
Well, yeah, but not where two people are fucking on a child, but I can show you in Dragon Ball where there's some dicks out. Goku was a little kid in the woods, dude. It keeps just coming back to Dragon Ball's a bad example because Goku was a little kid running around in the woods.
In a sexual situation. Where
they're
having
Goku
sex
didn't
with
know
a
what
child.
sex was. He thought that marriage was a type of food.
Yeah. So this performative bullshit, there, it's just all distraction, guys. That's what it is. And hopefully this is the end of our Vaush saga around here, because I really do hate that douchebag. And I really do hate or hope that this ends his career and that he has to go get a job at Walmart or something.
Can't even do that, man. You can't even do that. He's going to be Ubering. He can't do anything where they're going to Google him.
So, yeah, I hope he gets a nice Uber account, because fuck this guy. He's a degenerate piece of shit. And I don't even, his politics are stupid enough and easily debunked. But this kind of shit, this is why I've always, when it comes to Vaush, his bad political takes, there's tons of people with bad political takes. I don't want them to lose their jobs or anything because they disagree with me on politics. This guy's a pedo supporter, and fuck him.
Yeah, I don't think you being a dumb liberal makes you necessarily fucking evil and you don't deserve a life. I think that you like advocating for adults to have sex with children. And that's the problem, is not that like this guy, like if this guy was like, if he just went to therapy and he never said anything about it and nothing ever happened, we wouldn't even fucking know.
Yes.
The fact that he's coming out and advocating for it, that's the sicker thing. Well, not sicker, but that's another sick thing. That's two sick things now, is that these people come out and advocate for it.
Yep. It's the normalization of this, and that they call it destigmatizing. Don't fall for that shit. It's to normalize it so that
I want a stigma. I'm not even gonna play that game. I want a stigma on pedophilia. You should have a stigma on that. It's a bad thing.
Yeah. They should be able to go get help. They're not going to get help.
But what if you go to another country where it's totally normal and they've got like 14-year-olds marrying grown men? I'm still going to think it's a fucked up bad thing. I'm going to think I'm in a backwards ass third world country.
And again, I would just point out that Germany's tried this and it's gotten worse. You know what his excuse was for that? Well, the people obviously didn't take to it. They're still being mean to pedophiles. It gets better, man. Fuck off. You can't. The only thing you can do with a pedophile is do your very best to tell them never touch a child. It's not going to work.
Well, you know, I'm with what Vaush has been saying. What I'm really understanding here is real pedophilia has never been tried.
Yes,
that's what it is here. Real pedophilia has never been tried.
And he wants to give it his best. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up there because one, it's
please don't end it on that. Please don't end it on that. Say something else, monkey.
Well, the rule around here is never leave until I sing, because God knows my longest after I've said I was ending the show is like 2 hours. And I was dead serious when I said it, like I'm going to end the show. We are really ending it here, mostly because I have to pee, if I'm being honest.
All right.
I just drank a whole 32-ounce drink while we were having this conversation. So,
oh, God. Yeah, get to the bathroom.
Yeah. So, guys, thanks for hanging out. Thank you so much for the donations. You guys are so very kind to us. AP, do you want to shill yourself, or you want me to shill you?
I'll go ahead and do it. I think all of you, every one of you in the chat, if you're not subscribed to the Adonis Paul channel and watching Late Night with Adonis Paul, you're kind of an idiot, and I'll tell you why. It comes on right before Ranting Monkey. So you're hanging out, you're already doing something. When my show's over, Ranting Monkey is on. You could have a block of entertainment all night. You're denying yourself that. The Adonis Paul channel here on YouTube and Rumble, 5 nights a week, great shows, and if I don't see you there, I'm going to personally hold it against you.
I'm going to say this, and I've sucked up to my friend this way before. I mean this sincerely. There are very few people online or even in the world that I consider funnier than myself, and you are one of them, sir.
Well, thank you.
If you guys
I feel the same way.
You're wrong. You're funnier than I am. If you're not watching it, Late Night with Adonis Paul, check it out. Sometimes we are on at the same time, but those videos stay up. So watch if we're on at the same time. Pick your favorite to watch live and watch the other one afterwards. Just throwing that out there.
To all the channels.
All of them. And watch. AP, seriously, dude, it's been way too long. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend.
Definitely a pleasure. I'm going to get out of here and make it easy on you to jump offline. Take it easy, my brother.
Guys, take care. We'll see y'all next time. Bye now. He left the show before I sang. He broke the rules, but that's okay. Bye, guys.